understand that Paul's writings were to those lost. His whole mission was to those lost Israelites, just like him. I mean, Paul was in that condition. That's why I love it. Paul was just mirroring what was going on with him. When he was going for those lost Israelites, he was once a man assuming to be a Roman, running around, right? Thinking that he was Roman, acting as if persecuting through the law, persecuting the Jews through the law, right? And then Christ came and woke him up. So to answer that question, yeah, Timothy's father was a Jew that took on Greek customs. It's no different than today. You got Israelites that claim, if you ask them what is your nationality, I'm American, I'm Afrocentric, Asiatic, right? I'm African American, I'm all these different things because they don't know any better. They don't know what their nationality is. Y'all get that so far? We're live? Shalom. For y'all online, sorry about the technical difficulties. But we're live. We're just going over a question. We're going over two questions. The first one was, how do we know that Paul was, how can we prove that Paul was writing to the actual Israelites of the different places that he wrote his letters, you know, like Philippi and Corinth. Well, it tells you in the beginning of the books who he was writing to. And then another question was, how was Timothy's father an Israelite? And we went through Acts chapter 16, verse 1, to show the definition of a Greek. We went into the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, looked up the word Hellenist on page 347, and we see that a Hellen was a Jew that took on Greek language and customs. So yes, Timothy's father was a Greek, or excuse me, was a Jew that spoke Greek and took on Greek customs. Y'all good on that?
All right.
There was another, I'm waiting for everybody to get online. There was something else I wanted to hit real quick. A sister hit me up about a question online. She asked me, I'm gonna just go to it real quick. Man, the things that some Israelites say be blowing my mind. She hit me up about somebody telling her that since she's single and unmarried, that she can't learn. Basically, there's no way she can learn the scriptures without having a husband. You know, in my mind, I'm just like, that's nonsense. Because the Bible, it don't say that. It don't say that. Go to 1 Corinthians. And you know, I just showed her through the scriptures that, of course, an unmarried woman could learn. And then the scriptures that she was given were totally off. Yeah, they gave her the scriptures that pertain to a woman that was married that was being dishonorable to her husband. I'm like, that don't even pertain to you. Oh. Yeah, you know. But let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. And we're going to go to verse. Go to verse 32. 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 32.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 32.
Because it's going to give us the unmarried man and the unmarried woman. And it's going to show you what they should be doing if you're unmarried, if you're not bound to a wife or a husband, where your thoughts, where your mind should be at. Read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 32.
Go ahead.
But I would have you without carefulness.
Uh-huh.
He that is unmarried careth for the things that belongeth to the Lord.
He should be doing what?
Careth for the things that belongeth to the Lord.
Why? Because he don't got no woman to cater to or deal with or teach, right? So a man that's unmarried, he's supposed to be dealing with the things of the Lord until the time where the Most High sends him that wife. Read on.
How he may please the Lord.
How he may do what?
Please the Lord.
Read on.
But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world.
Yeah, he that is married care for the things of the world. Got my bills, got my wife, got my kids, my car, my this, got to make her happy, right? Move over a little bit, Abiyar. Read.
How he may please his wife.
Go see, he care for the things of the world. How he may please his wife. Go ahead.
Verse 34.
Uh-huh.
There is differences.
There is a difference. There is difference. Go ahead.
There is difference also between a wife and a virgin.
You see, now it's going into what I was dealing with the sister on. So it's showing you there's also a difference between a wife or a woman that's married and a virgin. The word virgin in this state is not talking about, it's talking about a woman that's not married. That's what it's talking about, an unmarried woman. Go ahead.
The unmarried woman careth for the things of the Lord.
She should do what?
Careth for the things of the Lord.
It's the same instance. The unmarried woman careth for the things of the Lord. But this is the thing. If you're not there learning the things of the Lord, how can you care for them? Y'all get that? So it's showing you that an unmarried woman, she's supposed to be learning. She's supposed to be learning. If there, like I told the sister, if there's a school near you, go to class and learn, or catch class online, whatever you make, whatever it is you do to learn. Because then think about it. Think about if she finds a man, right? She finds a man. They want to get married. They want to do all that. Fine. But then it's like, well, you don't know nothing. You know that you're an Israelite, but you didn't do the things to help you to grow into what a wife is, how to deal with the kids, how to deal with a husband, how to deal with a man. You got to be around to learn those things. So anybody that's telling you that an unmarried woman can't learn, there's something wrong. Now, I understand the intentions of, let's be real, man. Some Israelites are just wicked as hell. Some brothers are wicked as hell. They say things to try to hoard the women and try to, it's like, I'm going to tell you something that way you don't go deal with nobody else but me, right? Or he could either be trying to shield her from, you got brothers out there that try to use the Bible to get women. So I can see that perspective also. But, it really boils down to testing the spirit of who you're going to be learning from and who you're going to be around. Y'all understand that? Read on.
That she may be holy both in body and in spirit.
That she may be what?
Holy both in body and in spirit.
Yeah, how is she going to know how to do these things if she ain't learning? If she ain't got no man to show her, then somebody got to show her. Right? Was she just going to get it? And it's twist. As soon as she get a man, she just going to twinkle into like some holy and righteous woman? No. Always a learning curve. What brother wouldn't want a woman that already knows who she is? The basics. It'll take away a lot of the conflict, right? It'll take away a lot of when you meet a woman in the world and then you got to introduce her into this realm. It takes away a lot of the, I don't want to do that. I don't understand that. If she's already here doing it, that's better. She already knows what's required. Y'all understand that? Go ahead.
But she that is married cares for the things of the world.
Well, yeah, see, a married woman is going to care for the things of the world, just like that married man cares for the things of the world. Go ahead.
How she may please her husband.
Right, how she going to please her husband, because we understand that if a woman is pleasing her husband, then and she's doing it through the name of Christ, then what is she doing? She's pleasing the Most High, right? That's how it should be. Right? Y'all with me? Con. Some of y'all look like spaced out. Y'all good? Long day? What's today?
Wednesday.
Long week already or what?
Hump day.
Oh, yeah, y'all trying to get over the hump, right? Con. We all understand that, right? All right, and then there was another one. Go to Hebrews chapter 9. These are just some questions that I've been getting. Just want to hit them online so everybody can have an idea. Go to Hebrews chapter 9 and they wanted edification on verse 22. So we're going to start at Hebrews 9. For those of y'all online, I'm just hitting some questions that we have a Facebook page, so a lot of people send questions and ask different things, so it's, we bring them out in class so everybody can know what's being asked.
Verse what?
We're going to start at verse 19.
Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 19.
Go ahead.
For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves,
Right,
and of goats,
right,
with water and scarlet wool, and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people.
right. So this chapter, when you read 8, 9, 10, it's going into old covenants, purging things with blood, right? So it's telling us here that when Moses spoke every precept of the law to the people, when he came down off Mount Sinai, it tells you that he gave them all the words of the book, right? So it's telling you here what he did. He spoke to the people according to the law. He took the blood of calves and of goats with water, scarlet wool, hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people as a symbol of purging, right? Read verse 20.
Verse 20, saying, this is the blood of the testament which God hath enjoined unto you.
Go ahead.
Moreover, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle,
right,
and all the vessels of the ministry.
Yeah, because the blood represented that purging. It represented that purification. So it said he sprinkled the blood, both the tabernacle and all the vessels. We had a lot of different, we had the cups, the pouring vessels, right? The incense burners. A lot of different things that we used in the temple. So he used the blood to purify these things. Go ahead.
Verse 22, and almost all things that are by the law purged with blood.
Go ahead.
And without shedding of blood is no remission.
Y'all see that? So everything has to be cleansed by blood. That's what it's telling us here. Everything is purged by blood. Read.
It was therefore necessary that the pattern of things in the heavens should be purified with these.
Right. So the things that are patterned after heaven, like the scriptures say, "Thou will be done in earth as it is in heaven." So everything was done parallel. Everything is purged with blood. Go ahead.
But the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these.
Right. But the heavenly things had a better sacrifice. Which was what? Who knows?
Yahushua.
It was Yahushua, which was Christ. Read verse 24.
For Christ has not entered into the holy place made with hands.
Right, so it's showing us that the better sacrifice was Christ. Here on earth, everything was purged through blood. Right? Think about it. When you jump back down to verse 22, it says, without shedding of blood is no remission. Y'all understand that?
Good.
There had to be a blood sacrifice. There had to be blood shed for remission of sin. Y'all understand that, right?
Done.
Right. So, I mean, nothing too hard. Just wanted to go over that real quick for the person that asked that. I mean, listen, these are good Hebrews. It's a good book, man. Would you get into this 8, 9, 10, 7? Audio Bible, just let it do this and play and play. Y'all got any other questions in here? All Okay, so the sister has a question online. She said, Shalom. She said, I have a rebellious spirit. I want to know what I can do not to be this way towards my significant other. What's up? We got to turn the volume up?
It needs to be up.
Let's hit that. Somebody get that volume? Okay. So you have a rebellious spirit. Didn't we just go over a whole rebellion class? You have a rebellious spirit, and you want to know what you can do to not be this way towards your significant other. Well, what are you rebelling against? That's one. What is it that you're rebelling against when it comes to your significant other? Is he coming biblically and you're rejecting the word? What's going on? Like, you got to give me a little bit more. You got to give me a little bit more. But I mean, you first got to understand this. Go to Go to 1 Corinthians 11. Go to 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 3.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
Go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man.
So you got to understand that, first of all, that your husband is your head. Now, I mean, what are you rebelling? That's what I want to know. You're like, is he trying to get you to sell drugs or something? I will rebel that too. But is he trying to is he trying to tell you to live righteous? That's the question. You got righteous rebellion, but then you got rebellion that don't make no sense. If he's trying to pimp you and do all that negative, then yeah, you have every right to rebel, but what is it that you're rebelling against? I'll let you answer and I'll come back. Okay, I have a question. I want a divorce from my husband. Okay, that's not a question, that's a statement. Why do you want a divorce from your husband? What's going on? Again, is he pimping you, putting you on the block, making you sell drugs? What's going on where you want a divorce from your husband?
I thought that, when you divorced, only the sexually immoral, like, biblical crimes would make it feasible to divorce.
Yeah.
Like selling drugs, you have to pray for that to go away. That's your problem. You marry him or her, right?
Well, this is the thing.
I mean, not even physically abuse. Like, I thought the only way out was sexual immorality. You just have to pray and be righteous and help them be more righteous. Correct?
Go to Matthew real quick. Go to Matthew 19. You said what? You said what?
19.
Go to Matthew. Well, this is the thing. We don't. I mean, I know in here we don't deal with, we don't condone. Ain't nobody should be putting their hands on nobody. That's one.
No, of course.
If a man is trying to pimp his wife, why would I tell her to stay with her? Tell her to stay with him. You see what I'm saying? It don't make sense. Like,
yeah, well, that's
what's she
sexual
gonna do? Pray on
immorality.
it?
That's sexual immorality too. That's the thing.
Yeah,
as well.
but a lot of it is.
And I'm not saying like stay with a beater or anything. That's just what I read, and that's what I was going off of. Not
Right.
personal experience.
Go to Matthew. Yeah, where you at? 19 and what? 19:8. No. Yeah.
I'm there.
That's what I want. Go to Matthew 19 and verse 8.
Matthew chapter 19 and verse 8.
Go ahead.
He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives.
Right.
But from the beginning it was not so. 9.
Actually, read verse 7.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement?
So they were asking a question. The Pharisees, they always came challenge Christ. That was their mission. They always came to challenge Christ. So he said, well, listen, they asked, why did Moses make it okay for us to divorce? They wanted to see what Christ was going to say. Go ahead.
And to put her away. 8. And he said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffer you to put away your wives.
He said, because of the hardness of your hearts, right? Because of your wickedness, he suffered you to put away your wife. Go ahead.
But from the beginning, it was not so. And
But from what?
But from the beginning, it was not so.
Yeah, see, it was never supposed to be like that. What the Most High joined together, let no man put asunder. But see, the hardness of your hearts, the wickedness in you, Moses was like, okay, I'm going to allow it to happen. Read.
And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication.
Except it be for what?
Fornication.
Let's look it up. Because fornication ain't just talking about sexual. You understand that, right?
Gone.
Fornication is a spiritual fornication. Think about it. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I got my wife. Well, what holiday this past? Christmas, right? And she wants to prop up Christmas trees. She knows better. But she wants to pop up Christmas trees and deck the halls with boughs of folly and all that crap. Right? And that's, and I let's say I allow it. What does that do?
Commit fornication against the Most High.
That's one, but it opens up the door for any type of fornication to happen. Once I open the door to one thing, it's like, okay, yeah, now you can do Easter, 4th of July, New Year's. You could deck the halls next year. You could do Thanksgiving, right? That's a spiritual fornication. You understand that? Yeah. So either I cut that off, either I check that spirit in her, but what if she don't want to? What if she don't want to adhere? Then what? Do I deal with that? No. The scriptures say if she go not the way you would have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce. You see that? So it also says for the unbelieving wife or husband, if they be pleased to dwell. If I know that it's off to celebrate Christmas, I'm not pleased to dwell with a person that wants to do it. That's going to irk my spirit. So I'm not gonna dwell with them. You understand that? Where we at? Matthew 19. Did somebody get the definition of?
I got a question for that one you had just spoken.
What's that?
You said like it would irk your spirit, but what if like you the believing one and she the unbelieving one, but she still want to dwell with you though? Don't you say you're not supposed to put?
Yeah, but she ain't gonna prop up Christmas trees.
Right, come on.
That's a
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Well, then that's different. See, this is the thing. Either way, when it's talking about that unbelief, she still has to have the mind to be guided. You see that? Because it said that they're going to be sanctified. Somebody get that scripture. We were just there. It's back in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 7. We were just there. We were just in that chapter. Because how can they be sanctified? After a time, how can they be sanctified? Only through you guiding them through the righteousness. You see that? Oh, okay. No, but what was?
I mean, you know.
I know you're with me, but I'm trying to.
When I come to this house, I'm trying to make sure I be more reading the hill. I'm trying to heal first.
Right. No, I'm
just
trying to make sure.
Foolishness, you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I'm trying to make sure I'm answering your question. That's why I'm looking at you like, am I answering it, or is there something else? Allison.
I have a definition for fornication.
You got that? What you got?
Well, there's a few, but the one you're going off of, it says idolatry.
What?
Idolatry.
That's what Christmas, pagan holidays, all that stuff. Go ahead.
A forsaking of the true God and worshiping of idols.
Yeah, you see that? So, read verse. Where you at again? Read verse 9 again.
And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication,
right, and
shall marry another, committeth adultery.
You see that? And it's showing you in this one scripture that fornication and adultery are two different things. And like what the church tells us that fornication is I ain't gonna go there, but it's showing us that fornication and adultery are two different matters. Y'all get that?
God.
Let's see here, verse 9. I just want to see if this gives a little bit different. Yeah, because fornication has two different, it has a physical aspect and it has a spiritual aspect. Metaphorically, the worship of idols, of the defilement of idolatry, as incurred by eating the sacrifices offered to idols. So let's even think about it. It says eating the sacrifices, right, that are sacrificed to idols. You got some brothers that think it's okay to let me go eat Thanksgiving dinner. But you eating something offered to idols. Christmas dinner, because it's cooked for that purpose.
Right.
So it's showing you like you ain't supposed to have no part in that. So you got that wife, oh, I just want to go to my family and eat Christmas dinner. Nah, you ain't supposed to do that. You supposed to skip that whole day, don't eat no leftovers, none of that. Let that go. You see that? Read on. Read verse 9. Finish it up. Okay, go ahead.
And whoso marrieth her, which is put away, doeth commit adultery.
Right. You see that? Let's see here. So y'all get that, right? That there is cause, but see, what I'm dealing with online is, you can't just hop online and say, I want to divorce my husband. There got to be reasons why. Now watch this. Let's see here. I don't want to be with him anymore. I've been talking to another man. So yeah, you says you need to work that out. You can't just be with him and then your reason is I don't want to be with him. You got to have a legit reason. It tells us right here in verse 9. Read verse 9 one more time.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. Yeah, see, now what's going to happen is you're going to leave him for no good reason, not a justifiable reason under the law. You're committing adultery. So you got to work it out. That's the problem with our people. And we dealt with this the other day. There was a class that we did about getting to know people, getting to know your spouse. We jump head first into things and we don't count the cost of the battle. We just jump head first. And then when we get knee deep in everything, we want to back out when it's already too late. It's already too late. You got to deal with that, man. You got to figure out what the issues are, communicate, and work it out. It's not just as simple, especially if you know. Right? Yeah, it's in Romans. It's talking about being under the law. Right? Go to James 4:17. See, if you know that this is your husband according to the scriptures, and you're just trying to leave him for no apparent reason, Allison, what's up?
Going back to the fornication with idolatry, can you still, if your wife still wants to partake in it, but you know better as the husband, can you still work with her on it? Can you take time and then if she doesn't get it, then break up?
Well, of course. I mean, obviously, if it's a new wife or a new husband, if they're new to the knowledge, there's things that we don't expect you to just get it all in one. Oh, like she just twinkles now. She just got it. But if you 10 years in trying to still go kick it for Thanksgiving, let me go kick it over my grandma's house for that. People try to use the excuse that's the only time we get together. That's the only time we can get together. No, it ain't. It's not the only time you can get together. You just want to get together on this holiday because it's convenient for you. But you can endeavor to get together at different times if you really wanted to. Whatever happened to I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. They love to pull that scripture, but when it comes to doing things in the spirit, It's like, well, I can't do that at this time.
Right.
They always want to pull Philippians 4:13, but when it comes to doing things that the Bible says to do, it's like, I don't know if we can do that, dog. So yes, obviously, depending on how far along this person is in their learning, there's a learning curve, and it's like that for everything. I would expect you to know every single thing. I mean, you're new, so let's say we're dealing with you. I'm gonna say this. I know the way you roll, right? So I expect that when you read something, or when something is presented to you through the Spirit, through the Scriptures, you're like, okay, I'm gonna roll with that. So I think that I'm, just dealing in your case with something that's shown to you, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna roll with what the Bible says, right? So I would expect more from you,
Of course.
right? But there's some people that it takes them a while. You got sisters that will come, and they didn't understand why they gotta have their head covered, even though it says it in the Bible. Like, we didn't write it, we didn't put it there, but they still went against that. Like, I don't want to cover my hair. You see that? So it just everybody has their own learning curve and their time. But if you 10 years in and you still got a problem with head covering and holidays, then there's something wrong. Something's not clicking.
Yeah, because I've seen a couple like that where she's been doing Christmas for so long, and the husband's more like, he's learning more and more about it on why it's not biblical.
Right.
And so, he planted a small seed and saying this is wrong. Well, what's the point of this holiday? And so
Right.
just trying to trigger that. So.
And that's the right way to go about it, because again, he might have came into the knowledge before her, and then now he's bringing it to them. So it's gonna be like that, where he's now bringing it, and so it's expected that they're gonna still be doing certain things, where he's like, well, look, because one thing you can't do is just force a person. He can't just be like, well, you're gonna do what the hell I say, or that's it. That's not how that's not how it rolls. That's not how it goes down. You have to present things to people where it sparks a thought in them, and they can say, wow, what is the point of this holiday? Why am I doing it? Now they think and say, well, yeah, what else you got? You got to be strategic. The Bible says be wise as a serpent, harmless as doves. We don't want to offend. We don't want to push anything on anybody, because that's not what we're here to do. We're just here to deliver a message like Christ did. He went, he delivered his message. Whoever took to it, and who didn't, they went their way. You see that?
And even with learning the new knowledge, you're not supposed to learn. Well, you're not supposed to learn, but the teachers, the elders, aren't supposed to give you the meat before you get the
right.
milk.
Before you get the milk, but even
you get the little inkling before you get
right.
the big stuff.
Right. No, he's absolutely right. You definitely want to come with that milk. Some people can say, wow, Christmas is demonic, let me not do it.
Yeah. And
it's easy. But some people got to say, well, I know it's demonic, but so what? I don't look at it like that. I look at it as something else. I celebrate it for a different reason.
It's for Christ.
Right, it's for Christ. But then now you got to come a different way.
Why didn't he get presents? Why do we decorate the tree? And why do we give presents to each other? And even then, I was reading this the other day, because, I got family that does that crap, and we're just like, okay, I don't talk to them about it, because they're not going to get it. I'm not going to waste my breath. Trying to kick dust on that subject. But I read in the Bible, I don't remember which part it was, but he said, it was Isaiah talking about dressing the tree with silver and gold.
Jeremiah.
I'm sorry, I always mix that up.
It's actually Jeremiah chapter 10.
Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 10. Oh, decorate the tree with silver and gold. And nobody wants to admit that that's like, Christmas, because that's what we do. Not we, but they.
Right.
That's what they do.
Well, yeah, some people got to understand. The basics are definitely important, and some people have to understand why does it even apply to me? So you got to go a whole different route, right back to Deuteronomy 28. If they don't know that, a lot of times it comes to light for people when you take them through the basics. Some people can't just hear, oh, Christmas holidays are demonic, this is the origin, and just stop it. But then, see, here it goes now where Corinthians 7, where it talks about the unbelieving wife, unbelieving husband. Let's go there. I called it, right?
7 and 32.
Yeah, we gotta jump down. See, this is where this comes in now. Watch. 1 Corinthians 7.
14.
Start at verse, yeah. Yeah, actually verse 12.
Verse 12. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 12.
Uh-huh. Oh, wait, actually, watch this. Start at verse 10. I'm going to kill two birds in one stone. Start at verse 10.
Verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And unto the married.
And unto the what?
Unto the married.
Go ahead.
I command.
Go ahead.
Not I.
Not I. So Paul said, look, this is to the married. This ain't my commandment. Read.
But the Lord.
But who?
But the Lord.
But the Lord. Read.
Let not the wife depart from her husband.
You see that? So sis online, you got to read 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter. But it's telling you the wife can't depart from her husband. Read. Just for any old reason, like, I just don't want him no more.
But
Go ahead.
and if she depart, let her remain unmarried.
Yeah, and if you depart, you can't just go talk to some other guy just because you want to. Now you know. You got to remain unmarried. Go ahead.
Or be reconciled to her husband.
Right. Or you got to figure out whatever is going on with y'all. Fix the problems, communicate, take a break. Whatever y'all got to do to reconcile. But you can't just jump from beef to beef, one man to the next. You know, we got to stop doing that. That's what we do in the world. That's what we do out there. That's what they do. Like, let me get this man, and let me jump to this man because I don't like the way he did this over here, or he ain't paying my bills right. I'm going to get the next dude because I like the way his hair is wavy and he's light-skinned. Right? It'd be dumb reasons, too. Like, oh, he's light-skinned, girl. Right? Or he massages my feet at night. It'd be dumb things. It'd be still, like, you ask people, like, how come you left him? Oh, he just wasn't dark enough. Or he wasn't light-skinned enough. Or he didn't have a big one. Or his bank account wasn't big enough. Or, girl, I'm getting with this new guy because he got a Benz. Like, is that what it's about? But see, the scripture is telling us you can't just depart for some old whack reason, for some illogical reason that doesn't make sense, where it's not for some type of fornication. Now, if he doesn't know the knowledge and you do, then it's your job to try to get him into the knowledge. I didn't say teach him, but it's your job to get him to the knowledge if you want a righteous man. Else, all you're going to be doing is just jumping from man, to pipe to pipe to pipe, and you're just gonna be whoring yourself out at the end of the day. That's it. You're making your own self into a whore. So you got to figure out what it is about this man or what it is about this relationship that's not working, and try to fix it. At least give it that old college try. Try to fix it. No, go ahead. What?
And that's one thing that the world does not want to do. Cats don't want to put in work, man. You know, it's almost like when you buy a car. You go rent it out.
Yeah.
Well, that's your mind state. You go rent the car for about 2 years. You're done with it, man. You want something new, something flashier, something faster, different color.
Yeah, I need to upgrade.
I need the heated seats.
Yeah.
Like, gee, that's what you spend all that money. Listen, enjoy it.
Yeah.
But can I get that scripture?
That's the mind. That before you go, that's the mind state, though. You gotta look at it. The mind state. You gotta look at it from just everything that we deal with in society tells us if it don't work on it to make it better. Just go on to the next. What was the song? On to the next, right? We always think the grass is greener on the other side, like. But it's a thing where I don't want to put in work to make the things around me better. I get something that's not better, or when there's something else that's better than what I already got, I'm moved to that, and I'm gonna keep going up the line until now I got all the diseases, right? I got all the kids with no daddies, right? You just turn into a statistic.
And when you were saying, moving to something better and keep going to something better, well, who is destroying that better before they move on to the next better?
Yeah, you.
Like if you get a good car, who's destroying or wearing down the vehicle to turn it into a bad car?
Right.
They don't even understand that.
You know, because the problem is we don't, as a people, we're never taught to maintain things. We're taught to just get. If it's not working out for you, just move on to the next thing. Just search out for the next best thing. Instead of saying, damn, let me invest time, patience, Let me invest into what I have to make it the greatest thing. Let me invest in my relationship. Let me invest in my children. Let me invest in me. See, the problem is you don't even want to invest in you. You just want to move on to the thing that looks good because it looks good. But then what happens when the next man looks good? When the other cat is more light-skinned than her, with better looking eyes or whatever it may be. What happens then? You gonna jump ship? You gotta ask yourself these questions, man. And if you hopefully you don't have no children with this man, if this is what you're thinking, because then you gotta think about what it does for your children. And the example that it shows your children. That is, you ain't gotta work for nothing. You just get it how it is. When you don't like it, toss it to the side and go pick up something else. It's not a good example. Where were you gonna get?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about it as well, you know, just with like how the Most High looks at us about being adulterers and adulteresses. We've always been that in the scriptures. Our mind's always been on something else. Like he gave us this, we want something else. It's like we're never satisfied.
Like he gave us Moses. What did we do? Let's build a golden calf. Right? And then he's like, listen, okay, I'm not going to give you a preacher, or I'm not going to give you a king. No, we need a king. Right. Why? We always think that we need what we don't need. We always looking for the next thing instead of looking at what's in front of us and building that.
And the mind states off, because I was thinking about that, you know, when I was in the military. No, it was just like 2 seconds. There was a lot of cats, man, like when they go in, they're like, yeah, I'm a retire in the military. But what that is that their mind frame is already telling themselves, excuse me, their mind frame is telling themselves that they're already going to endure whatever it has to take to get through that 30 years, 40 years, or whatever it may be. See, but our issue is we don't look at things like that. We look at it as like a little 5-year hoorah, 5-year run. We don't think about long-term, longevity and things. Now, we want to, like I said, when it comes to TVs, listen, I got a TV for 3 years, I need a bigger TV now. We don't look at it as keeping that and upgrading it and, what's the word?
Being content.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Watch. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me, but just even with that, it's just on the fact of whenever you get in a relationship with somebody, you already know that you want to be with this person. You have to, because that's why you're in it. But the thing is, now it's like, now you have to tell yourself, like, there will be issues. Plain and simple, but we're going to have to get through those issues to continue in life. See, but that's what the Most High wanted us to be with Him. We can never be that with our relationships if we can't even be with the Most High, but that's our problem. We're never faithful.
Because we don't understand. Go to 1 Timothy 6:6 real quick, and then I'm going to let you come in with that. Go to Timothy 6:6.
Okay.
See, this is the problem with our people, man. You know, it's funny. I was watching, we had a little day off on Monday, you know, the mall closed, whatever. And I was watching this, I was watching this documentary on Freeway Ricky Ross, the drug dealer. And you know what's funny about every cat that sold drugs? His reason for selling drugs was to get as rich as he could, as fast as he could. But it's like, where's the limit of how rich you can get? They never thought, like, they never put a number to it. It's like, I'm gonna just get as rich as I can, as fast as I can. They never had a number. So that means that there was no stopping, right? There was no stopping this person from to keep doing the wickedness. Because if you don't have a cap, how rich is rich, right? How much money is a lot?
Never.
When you got millions, you want more millions.
Listen, El Chapo got over $40 billion.
Yeah, but even that, but did he ever say, I got 40 billion, let me chill?
Nah.
He was like, no, I'm gonna keep going.
Listen,
I want 40 more billion.
His mom said, you better stop or another relative will die. Did he stop? Hell no.
I've been on that too. Read that, 1 Timothy 6:6.
Bravo.
1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 6.
You funny. Go ahead.
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
You see that? See, we gotta understand that. Godliness with being content. Contentment, somebody look up the definition of content. But godliness with contentment is great gain. When you can put your spirit, the righteous spirit, into the things that are around you, you know why it's great gain? Somebody got that? Contentment? Somebody's getting it? Anybody can get that definition. Just Google it. But you know why it's saying godliness with contentment is great gain? What you got, Amoana?
The state of happiness and satisfaction.
The state of what?
Happiness.
So godliness and satisfaction is great gain. You know why? Or being satisfied with the things you have. Because it's not really that you're being satisfied with the things that you have, because what you're doing, you're allowing the things around you to grow. You're allowing the people around you to grow through the godliness. Y'all get that, right? It's just like a man and a woman. A man gets the knowledge. He got a woman that don't got the knowledge. He could easily be like, well, I don't want you. I'm going to go get me a sister on Facebook that speaks Hebrew and got a Hebrew name.
On Facebook.
On Facebook, right? I'm going to go get her. Because she already knows who she is. But then guess what? He might go get her and she might be a straight up demon. Right? He might say, oh, she got her head wrapped. She got a Hebrew name. She be saluting in Hebrew and all that.
Speaking in tongues.
She's speaking, yeah. But guess what? She might be a straight up demon. Instead of saying, you know what, let me invest in the woman that's been around with me. Let me invest in her. That's the great gain, because once she does get it, she's going to be more of a benefit. She's going to be more of an asset, more of an attribute than just getting some fly-by-night woman on Facebook. Y'all understand that? So it goes in with a little bit of patience too, but see, this is what we got to realize. Godliness with contentment is great gain. Not godliness, let me move on to the next thing that I see that looks good. Godliness with contentment. You got something?
Yeah, I wanted to add to it too. I can't speak for the people of the past before our days, but the time of now, I can speak on that. With people with TVs, phones, computers, internet, always doing something. Let's say when we were kids, we didn't have little children, little 5-year-olds who could turn on an iPhone to get on the games and then show you how to do it. Everybody always wants more, always wants something flashy because it's always flashing in our face.
Right.
TV programming is what it's called. And it's not just brainwashing. It is TV programming, but it's programming us.
Right.
Of course, everybody knows BT is like a white guy running the show and all that. But what they show is be flashy, sell drugs, get gold, get a nice car, get some fancy, and never want enough. Oh, nobody's better than you. Be better than everybody. If you got this, then you're better than everybody. And that's what most people are seeing, you know what I mean? And the people, 99% of people watch TV, and that 1% of people that don't, I can't say that they're like the Bible-beating greatest people in the world.
Right.
But at the same time, they're not affected as much. And if people realized, if they realized what was actually showing, they would realize they should be content. Just like you're saying, they should be content with what they have.
See, the thing about it, that mind frame right there of wanting everything is the mind frame of Babylon.
Yes.
This is the mind frame of the enemy, man.
The tower.
And
it's a mind state without knowledge. It's a mind state. Listen, the thing is, the one thing we should always be striving for and always looking to increase it is our knowledge of the Most High and how to please Him. But see, a mind without knowledge, like when you deal with the TV shows, the BET, all that stuff, they're not showing you like, go find wisdom. They're like, nigga, go get you a car, a woman, and a house. And if you can't work for it, go sell drugs for it. Because that's how I did it. Or go rap for it. Go dance for it. Go shuck and jive. And then once you get a bigger house, go get 40 more. Right? So you can go bankrupt. And then have to start all up. Like, it's this bad cycle. There's no wisdom in that. There's no knowledge in that.
Right.
And that's what we got to understand. Where were you going to go?
I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes.
Chapter 23 and verse 22.
And this is going back to what?
And this is just to edify on the sister's comment, Clarissa Gibson, on the point of saying that I don't want to be with him anymore.
Right.
I've been talking to another man. See, we have to understand that there's consequences to our actions. And a lot of times we deal on our emotions. We deal with the emotional state of our body rather than the wisdom. And with that, the Most High gives us according to what we do. So what's going on, what you have to understand, Miss Clarissa, is that just like the Most High was long-suffering and patient and meek with you to give you the truth and to forgive you and to give you the chance to actually grow in the truth and in the spirit of the Most High.
Well, we gotta remember one thing. We don't know how far along this sister's knowledge is.
Right.
We don't know how far along she is in the knowledge, but right now we're letting her know that through the spirit, through the scriptures, that you can't just divorce your husband for any reason.
Right.
So, I mean, now that you're getting this, you gotta really reevaluate the thought process. That's what it's about. But go ahead.
Yeah, so with that, what's the scripture?
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 23 and verse 22.
And this is just a good scripture just to hold, because a lot of people like to do this. They like to run. If it's on the males, the females, they like to run. The Most High, listen, the Most High is a man of war. You cannot run. There's no running. You got to stay in your ground and fight your battle. But people don't want to fight their battle. But read that.
Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband.
Read that again.
Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband.
So this is going in about a wife that leaveth her husband without any cause, no counsel from elders, not your aunt Sandy, your cousin from up the street. You calling up Oprah online. You hitting the magic ball woman. What do you call them?
Readers.
The palm readers. The what's the other little
Psychic.
Not the psychic. I'm talking about the ones that walk through the mall.
Oh,
Yeah.
gypsies.
Gypsies. You catch them on the side street. You ask them a question. No, this is not getting confirmation from them. Read that again at the top.
Good. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 23 and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband,
Read.
and bringeth in an heir by another.
So it's talking about a woman that leaves her husband and tries to start another family with this individual. Because an heir is a child that you brought. It's your offspring. Read.
For first, she had disobeyed the law of the Most High.
So we got to understand that the Most High has laws. And one of the laws was, read that again. Where you at, Abiyar, in that 1 Corinthians?
1 Corinthians.
Yeah, right to the point. That's 7.
7.
Read that with some power.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband.
Yeah, it says, let not the wife depart from the husband. Read.
But if she depart, let her remain unmarried.
Yeah, remain unmarried. So when it comes to, I don't want to be with my husband anymore, I'm talking to another man, according to the Bible, according to the law that the Most High gave us, that is incorrect. Read that again in Jeremiah.
Good.
Verse 23.
23. Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 23. For first, she had disobeyed the law of the Most High.
She had what?
Disobeyed the law of the Most High.
Read.
And secondly, she had trespassed against her own husband.
Yeah, it says you trespassed against your own husband. Because I don't think this is I don't think this decision was made on both of your parts, because you're saying that you want to leave him. You don't want to be with him no more. That's why a lot of times we have to have more edification on the situation to give you better counsel on the issue.
Right, because again, like we went to Matthew 19, right? If he's doing wickedness, if he's trying to make you do wickedness, if he's beating you down, trying to make you sell drugs or pimp you or something like that, go ahead and leave him. That's justification, but it's not you can't just leave him to leave him. Like, oh, I just don't like him no more. Nah, that's not, it doesn't work like that. It has to be for some wickedness. He got to be doing something wicked. You see that? You got to be doing something wicked. Because we're not going to tell you to stay with somebody that's beating you, making you sell drugs,
Right.
abusing your children. Nah, that wouldn't be wisdom. That wouldn't be wisdom. But if it's just to leave him, then no. Can't just divorce. Go ahead.
Read.
And thirdly,
Read that in a second.
God. And secondly, she had trespassed against her own husband.
Read.
And thirdly, she had played the whore in adultery.
Hold on, she played the what?
The whore in
Read
adultery.
one more time.
The whore in adultery.
Yeah, it says you played the whore in adultery. This is coming from the Bible. This is what you are in the Most High's eyes with the ways that you want to move. A lot of times, once again, we don't move with wisdom and knowledge. We move off of emotions. And according to the Most High, it says you are a whore in adultery. Read.
And brought children by another man.
Read.
She shall be brought out into the congregation.
Uh-huh.
And inquisition shall be made of her children.
So once again, there's penalties for our actions. And this is going deeper. It's talking about the penalties for your children now regarding your actions dealing with this other man that you have now that you rather talk to than your husband. Read.
Her children shall not take root.
Hold on, say that again.
Her children shall not take root.
So who knows exactly what that means about her children may not take root? They could actually wither off and die. They could have an ailment, whatever type of, that's why it says, who did sin? Was it the father or was it that child? Read.
And her branches shall bring forth no fruit.
Yeah, the Most High says he's going to cut you down, man, because of your actions. But we don't think about that while we move in our emotions. We move not with wisdom. The Most High has something waiting for us, and that should be scary. So you have to ask yourself, Miss Clarissa, what exactly is the issue? Because you don't want to move rashly. You don't want to move outside of the wisdom of the Most High because, like it says here, that there's consequences to your actions. And all you sisters out there, all your friends that like to talk, well, I found the new boo, this and this, I've been dealing with this guy. Okay, listen, you better be watchful and understand what you're doing because the Most High is not playing out here.
Yeah. Come on, man. Half the time the women want to get rid of their man is never for a justifiable reason.
Right.
It's always something carnal. It's never something, and when I say carnal, it's because you're not gaining carnally. It's always got to do something with a man's bank account, his car, or his sex.
He's not as exciting as he used to be.
Yeah. It goes to his bank account, the car he's driving, or sex. That's what it is. So you just got to make sure that that's not your motives. Else it's telling you right here what's going to happen when you deal with this other man that you're trying to pursue. Ms. Hampton, we're gonna actually answer your question during the class, right? And then you got the scripture that he was talking about? Yes, sir. The brother asks, after Philip baptized the Ethiopian eunuch, was there any more water baptism conducted?
I know the scripture is something about.
Well, that's the thing, I wanted him to put what scripture he was talking about. Well, where we at? Oh, okay.
But the eunuch's not talking about Philip.
I want to know. Okay, so after Philip baptized the Ethiopian eunuch, was there any more water baptism conducted? I want to know why you asking that question. Give me more on that question. It's like, what's the purpose? What's the basis of your question? But I mean, when you go to Acts, where you at?
That's Acts chapter 8.
When you go to Acts chapter 8, it talks about Philip baptizing the eunuch. But I want to know what's the basis of the question. I'll wait for him to answer. I'll wait for him to get back on and respond. Y'all good in here?
Done.
Any questions?
This is from Latoya McCoy.
So what can I do now? Coming into the truth, should I go back to my kid's father? Well, if you're coming into the truth, is he trying to come with you? That's what you got to ask yourself. Is what are you going to be going back to? You might be getting endowed with the knowledge, but Amos chapter 3 verse 3, can two walk together at least they be in agreement? Is he gonna push you off your path? You see that? So I mean,
kind of like a question, kind of similar to that, but at the same time, it's still on the topic. Like, say the woman leave, right? And like you say, she leaves somebody else, but they come to the truth and then they want to come back. But the man...
Wait. Say it one more time so I'm with you. You said it's she.
Like, say y'all wasn't in the truth or whatever.
Right.
And she leave, like, kind of like that question. And she want to come back. But isn't the man not supposed to take her back if she been with another man, though?
So they both come into the truth. She leaves.
Well, like she leaves.
She leaves and go be with somebody else.
Right. And then come back.
And then come back.
Right.
I mean, that's up to that man.
Right.
That's up to that man. That's up to that individual.
Yeah.
Think about it. We fall off. Brothers done left the truth and came back. It's no different.
Right, but I'm talking about like, you know.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but it's
the scripture said she polluted after that.
Yeah, but it's the same thing where are leaving the truth and going into the world. Are you not polluted? After so long, the world done polluted you. Because coming out of the world was the pollution.
True.
Right? So if you go back, you're being re-polluted. But then is Christ rejecting us?
Yeah,
See,
that's why.
it goes to each individual man and what he wants to do with that situation.
Right.
I can't say, yeah, you got to take her back, or no, you don't, or no, don't ever take her back. It's up to that man and the sincerity of that woman. You see that? It's not just saying like, oh no, he can't ever deal with her, or oh yeah, he has to take her back.
Right.
There, you got to figure out that situation between those two individuals. What do they got? They got children. Do they sincerely want to work it out? You see what I'm saying? You got the level of sincerity. Then what do? Now you got to go and take the precautions of, well, we're going to try to work it out. Let's set goals and standards and rules and regulations. You see what I'm saying? And if everybody adheres, then you just move forward. If not, then, through the trials and tribulations, you'll see where a person's intents are. But there's nothing saying like, oh yeah, you can never ever deal with that. Don't ever deal with that. You see that? What were you going to say?
No, because we're supposed to present our bodies as a living sacrifice.
Right.
And they talk about in the scripture, like, if you marry and then you put her away,
Mm-hmm.
and she go marry to another man, and they say if the latter husband, if he die, or if he give her a bill of divorce, then the former husband shall not take her.
You can't take her.
Right.
But it's just like this.
She defiled, so, if she defiled, and you take her back, you walking good and everything on the path, but then once you be defiling yourself, defiling your
Well, it's just like this. It's just like this. The Most High said we're a nation of kings and priests, right?
Come on.
A priest wasn't supposed to marry a woman that wasn't a virgin.
Right.
Priests were only supposed to marry virgins. Show me them out there. Where they at? See, the problem is this, man. You got to look at more spiritual and not the physical part, because what is it about? It's about cleaning up the mind, right? Once you clean the mind up, everything else is going to follow. You see that? That's why I said this on an individual case by case, up to that man basis. If you sitting there like, well, I don't want to defile myself with that, and I don't want to deal with that, then fine. You don't have to. But if you say, well, you know what? A just man falls 7 times. I'm not righteous, holy, pure, and clean. The Most High said our righteousness is like what? Filthy rags, right? So that means you defiled too. That means we defiled as hell. Because here, you might be doing all the things, you might be doing the fringes and class and doing all that, but no matter what, here is where it counts, where the thoughts come in. We still get them. We're not perfect. So, it's up to that man to say, what level am I going to deal on? Because no matter what, think about it. You get a woman from out there that's been with 10 men. And because she says, I've only been with 1, but she's really been with 10. Is it any different than dealing with a woman that you see what I'm saying? Is it any different? No. Physically, no.
Right.
It's not.
Not physically, but like you said, like spiritually too. But like we were talking about, if y'all both know though, you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, it's worse to know than you still do it. You know what I'm saying? So if you know and then she leave and then do that and then try to come back, that's what I'm asking.
Well, yeah. Again, it's up to that man.
Yeah.
It's up to that man. It's about your level of compassion and forgiveness.
Right.
That's what it really is. Because again, I'm gonna bring it like this. It's no different than if a brother was in the truth, rolling in the knowledge, 3-4 years, right? He ain't eating pork. He's not celebrating no holidays, all that stuff. And then he just says, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I want to go back out there, Christmas, eat pork, hang out with my family, do me. He goes and does that. So he's defiling himself, right? But then, who are we to say, nah, you can't come back and change? You see what I'm saying? We just got to let brothers roll to the point where they change and until they don't want to do it again anymore, or until what they keep doing. But it's up. But we leave it up to the brother. We can't be like, well, nah, brother, you fell off and then you can't never come back. It's up to that man to say, well, guess what? I don't want to deal with you. You can still. I mean, you know, you got kids. Let's say you got kids with that person. What you want for your children? Are you going to look at the bigger picture of your pride, ego, or are you going to look at let me look at the compassion of Christ. Let me look at the long suffering of Christ. Let me look at the way Christ got to put up with the way we deal and our back and forth.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? It's deep, yeah. But then again, it's not that deep. It's simple. We always got to mirror ourselves. What's that, brother?
Yeah, and you know, there's also the case of John 8:6 and 8:7. He without sin cast the first stone. If you judge somebody else, of course, case by case basis, but you know, if all the cases are good, if you want to judge them, you know, you got to look at yourself too. Well, am I living just as well, better than? Am I living what Jesus wants me to live like? For me to judge them? And that's you know, something I was thinking about as y'all were talking.
Right. No, it's real. I mean, again,
everybody's a sinner. That's why Jesus died for us.
Because none of us ain't perfect. But again, I that goes to that man and what he wants to deal with. And it's situational because, again, you might have children involved. You might not. There might be something deeper there. You know, I believe this, man, that everything happens for a reason, and it's always about giving a person a chance. And that's what it's about. Like, you can set up measures to where you can say, okay, I'm gonna put you through this trial, I'm gonna put you through this, we're gonna deal with this, and never actually deal with the person again on that level of like, oh, that's my wife, I'm gonna prove her. The scriptures say prove a friend, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prove her to see where she's really at. And if she's really wanting to change, then she's gonna go through all the things that are meant to prove her. You see that? That's another way to do it. Like, it's not like, oh, I mean, I wouldn't expect a sister, like you got committed adultery on, and the sister comes back like, yeah, I want to be with you. And you're just like, oh yeah, come on back. And then you all lovey-dovey. It's like, wait a minute, let's step back here. Let's think about this. This is what you did. This is what I did. Why do you want to come back? What's going on with you? Okay, well, guess what? You know what? I'm going to have some compassion on the situation. We're going to deal, but this is how we're going to deal. Now, you get to set the rules. You get to guide everything the way you need it to go. And if it don't go the way you want, then you just don't deal with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was thinking about, you know, your guy Hosea. You know, and it's funny how the Most High does things, though. Hosea, the Most High made Hosea marry a whore. But the reason why the Most High does these things a lot of times is for us to see and understand why he did that. Because we do the same thing to him daily. So, you know, a lot of times we take things personally when it's done to us, but we should actually look back and see how the Most High is taking how we handle the grace, the long suffering that he's given us multiple times. You know, and it's a beautiful thing for a man, you know, like on your question, to be forgiving, long-suffering, compassionate, merciful. But like the brother said, listen, there has to be some type of guidelines, some type of laws laid down. If you want to come back to, really all they're doing is come back to the law, statutes of the Most High, getting their mind rewashed. You know, so that's just a question that you got to ask yourself, man. Do we want the same mercy given to us by the Most High? You know, that was a good scripture, John. But, you know, we forget about how compassionate the Most High is to us in our life. Wow, we're still alive, man. We got food on the table, cars to drive, clothes, you know. So we owe a lot to the Most High. And through our example, man, the prophets back in the old days, they went through it, man. They went through it. Isaiah had to walk around butt naked for 3 years. Yeah, it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
He walked around butt naked for 3 years. But why, though? That was to show the children of Israel, man. And it's funny, man, the things that we go through, other people see. And that teaches others, man. But a lot of times we don't see that. We only see our own feelings and emotions. But, you know, yeah, it's pretty deep, man. But it's beautiful, you know, when we can have compassion toward our brothers and sisters because we're all sick. We're all jacked up.
Right.
Oh, just going along with that, how the Most High has forgiven us and how we should look on others. Like I've been reading Jeremiah a lot the past few days, and Jeremiah 3, you know, Most High goes in on us. Backsliding whore, your sister,
Right.
your sister
He's
Judah.
cussing us out.
Yeah, he's cussing us out, and he says, I put you away, but then later on he says, but I'm your husband. Like I'll take you back. Just confess your transgressions, and like Quaz was saying, it's on a case by case basis with that man and that woman. But you know, if I'm thinking for myself, if you still care about that person and you still feel like there may be hope there, and it's in your heart to take them back and to deal with them, you know, just thinking about how the Most High dealt with you and took you back, and how He was willing to work with you through all your filth, and even for those who don't even think that they've been filthy, you're still filthy.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, there was a verse that came to me about when people was like, oh, well, I haven't done anything wrong in my life. I've been living my life good. I've been a good person. In Jeremiah 2:22, it says, for though thou wash thee with nitrate and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith the Lord God. It's like, you might think you cleaned up. You might think you clean yourself up. You might think you're good. He goes, but your sin is marked before me.
Right.
And
because think about it. You washing that outside.
Right.
Soap
Right.
don't clean your mind.
Right.
And that's what we got to understand, that you can look bright, shiny, and crystally on the outside, but what's going on in here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's in your spirit, truly.
Right.
You see that? So yeah, we got to be careful, man, the way we judge and the way we deal with people. But again, that's situational. I'm not saying, yeah, you have to, or no, you don't, never can. It's situational. You see that? But let's go into the class. Let's go into the class.
You know, and especially on that topic, you know, it's just being, you know, understanding of the Most High and how, you know, how we deal, man, because the Most High has dealt with us in a certain way. But the class is going to be the power of the tongue. And that's actually how we deal when we speak, man. The words that come out of our mouth. You know, are we building somebody up or are we tearing them down? Because the tongue is extremely lethal.
Two-edged sword.
Come on. It could be beneficial to somebody or it can be detrimental to somebody. But the first scripture, give me Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21.
And before we hit the class, you could, sis, you could throw in that baptism class. There was a question about the baptism. You could throw that in there. Just throw the link in. For them, they could check that out.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21.
Bring it out.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
You read that a little bit louder, a little bit more power.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
It says death and life are in the power of the tongue. And our people really don't know that. They don't know that the words that they speak is death or life. That's why a lot of musicians, man, all the words that they say, man, is crazy. Because why? People start jamming to it, bouncing to it. Yeah, because it's either death or life. It's either empowering somebody or literally crushing their spirit.
Well, and it's not just crushing their spirit. It's really, when it says, who knows what it means when it says the death and life are in the power of the tongue? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, look at the Levites. Really, the Levites had the power to curse or bless somebody. If you were cursed by the Levite, back then, before, you know, they were somebody dropped tablets. If they cursed you, then you lived a dog's life. If they blessed you, then you had a really nice life.
Well, let's talk about it in this time. You know, we know about the Levite. Let's talk about it and let's bring it to now.
Okay, well, you know, like he said about the musicians. The musicians are all, you know, they cast spells. These little witches, they cast spells over their songs and stuff to enchant people. People do spells and stuff like that. We pray to our Most High, and He listens to us and either blesses us or doesn't bless us. Our words give us power. If we if we edify somebody, we can help them to feel great enough to build mountains, or we can destroy their whole world.
Right? I don't want to. You got your hand up?
In what we say to someone else in here or out of here, we have the power to persuade them and make them want to keep coming and keep learning, or we have the power to turn them off totally and to where they'll never look at another Bible in their life.
Yeah. When it says life and death are in the power of the tongue, you know, the way you approach situations, the things you say and how you say it, you can either build a person, you can break them, you can cut them, you can heal them. All in word, all in just the things that you say, and all in your tone, all in the way it's said. And that's why it's telling us that. Read it again.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Yeah, see, the death and life are in the power of the tongue, the way you say things, the way it comes across. Your tone. You have the power to build or break. You have the power to breathe life into a person or to send them on the path that's not beneficial. And we gotta understand that when we gotta think before we talk. It's very important to think before we talk and know what you're gonna say, because you can talk yourself into a hole. You can talk yourself into a ditch. You know, the way you talk to people, you can tell them, you know, I wish I never met you. I wish I never met you, but this person holds the keys to, you know, there's certain things that we tell people, right? But they're entangled in our life in a certain way where they can determine your happiness that day. You see, perfect example. If I got a wife and we're not on speaking terms, right? And I'm trying to deal with her, but I'm constantly spitting negative. And let's say she comes around and says, you know, I want to deal with you, but then she reflects back on that negative that I was saying. Is she going to want to be around that? She's going to be able to use that and say, well, you said such and such. You said this negative thing to me, or in the way you said this, I didn't like it. Why would I want to be around that? They use what you say against you. You know how people do that. They use what you say against you. It's like 1 minute you say you love me, the next minute you didn't want to meet me. Which one is it? Now it opens up this door for them to be able to double dutch back and forth the way they want to do it. They want to do things the way they want to do it because of what you said to them. That's the power, and that's the power of the tongue. You understand that? Go ahead.
Keep reading. Oh, just real quick, if anybody has any questions or any ad-libs, just raise your hand, because you know, there's multiple people in the class, so we want to get everybody's question answered. So go ahead.
Somebody's got a question?
No, not a question, just, you know, statement, whatever it may be.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Second precept. And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Definitely. So you'll eat the fruit of what your mouth produces. What you say. You can have positive statements. You can have negative statements. You can, like for example, like in the mall, man, we deal with so many people, man. And, you know, there's a lot of things that are said to us to where we can react negatively or positively. Situation being, it was a situation where somebody thought that we gave him an evil eye, like a stank eye. But at the car, we're extremely busy, you know. And this person just was in their feelings, but to come to know is that they had a problem in the mall with some other friends. And long story short, dealing with that person, I could have hit her with some, you know, man, let's get up out of here. I ain't got no time for that. I could have hit her with a straight cut. But I kind of slowed it down and was like, you know what, I'm going to explain to her that That's not our nature. Why? Because obviously she's hurt. So let me explain this. Listen, we got customers over here. Can't sit here and talk all day. Let me break it down to you. To be honest with you, this cart is for a Bible school. So even with that, it kind of detoured the situation to where they realized and understood, rather than have it be, you know what, they would just want to bust up all our stuff because they mad in their emotions. Nah, how you speak to somebody, what route you take, it'll show the outcome of it, man. Or there'll be a positive or negative outcome, and that's what that last precept says. Read. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, we're not done yet. Yes, sir.
Verse 22. Whoso findeth a wife, findeth a good thing.
No lie. Go back to
verse 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21.
Right.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Yeah. So if you want to go out here and just go right off the spectrum, just going in on somebody, listen, read.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Yeah, you eat the fruit of what you say, but you can calm down a situation easily and eat the fruit of that as well. To have a relaxed and understanding situation come down to a positive end.
Well, I'm going to throw this in there. I know he got it, but I'm going to throw it in because it goes right along with what we're saying. Go to Proverbs 15 and verse 1. See, and this is basically what he's saying in a nutshell. The way you respond to situations is going to dictate the outcome. Somebody can come to you angry, foaming at the mouth. You don't got to be angry and foam at the mouth with them. You could be the calm, cool, collected one. Show them through your calmness, why are you tripping? Make them have to re-examine, like, why am I coming in this way? Read that, Proverbs 15 and verse 1.
Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. A soft answer.
A what?
Soft answer.
Go ahead.
Turning away wrath.
Yeah, you see that? Because a soft answer is going to turn away somebody that's in that wrath mode. Somebody that's in anger mode. A soft answer is going to do it. Read.
But grievous words stir up anger.
Yeah, but if you come in the same spirit of a person that's wrathful, if you try to fight evil with evil, it's just going to store up more evil. The scriptures say fight evil with good. Overcome evil with good. You see that? So that's our job. But it all starts with the things that come out of your mouth. That's what we got to understand. That's why it says life and death are in the power of the tongue, because the things that come in it, when you talk, when you put things out into the air, that determines a lot of things. It determines what's going to happen next. People act off of what is being said. Y'all understand that, right? People act off of what's being said. If somebody's like, F you, you're going to react to that in a certain way. But in which way? That's the question. You're going to be, and that's the thing. And I know we're going to go into it, right? When you react in negative, what are you not applying?
Wisdom.
Right. And we're going to get into it, but just a little intro to show you that, and why did the scriptures say that death and life? Think about the tongue. It's a little thing, man. But how can you get life and death from it? You got to really ask yourself. Think about how many situations you've been in where you reacted the wrong way. Okay. And what happened? You got the undesired result. Right. But think about when you actually apply wisdom, and like the scriptures say, you had that smooth speech, and the things that came out of your mouth were seasoned with salt. You got that one? Think about that, where you had a favorable reaction. Think about it's meant for you to think. And that's what we got to start doing more of, is really in just critical thinking on scriptures like this. Like, why would it say that? What you got?
Too, yeah, Matthew 5:38 backs that up too. Say, you've heard that eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. But if a man slaps you in the face, turn your other cheek also. If you unsay your shirt, give him your coat also.
Right, but that's more action. We talk about just word. Because if I think about it, eye for an eye, what am I doing? I'm digging your eye out. If I'm slapping you in the face, I'm actually slapping you. You see what I'm saying? But we're talking about what leads to that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Before that.
What happens before that? There has to be some type of discourse. Am I saying things that's gonna build the situation through wisdom and godliness, or am I breathing fire on a situation that's already got gasoline all over it? Am I spitting that flame, or am I spitting on the fire? You see that? What's that?
I would tell I whisper to I was gonna say that ostrich by spitting on
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got that? Oh, we're gonna get it. But you see, it's just meant for you to think and say, man, where do I stand? Think about it. You gotta ask yourself, what type of person are you when people say negative to you? Do you fight evil with evil? Because remember, Satan can't cast out Satan. Right? Or do you come to overcome evil with good?
For railing?
Right? Do you go railing for railing? Which one are you? Because then you could actually look back on your life, look back on your days, look back on your years and say, damn, well, I could have avoided so many problems if I would have known that life and death were in the power of the tongue. That if I would have known Proverbs 15:1, the soft answer is going to turn away wrath. How do I deal with my husband? When he comes with me, when he comes forceful, how do I react? How do I deal with my wife? How do I deal with brothers? How do I deal with sisters? How do I deal with my boss? You see that? How do I deal with the people around me when the speech is not favorable from what I think it should be? How do I react? Do I react in that same force? Or do I take a minute to think, apply wisdom, and say, you know what? Yeah. All right, let me have that soft answer. Because you got to see. I mean, listen, the one thing I do, I practice that scripture a lot. Because if I was to combat the foolishness that's said to me on a day-to-day basis, I'd be in a million fights. But a lot of times, it's like, nah, bro, we all good. What's going on? Sometimes you got to ask them, like, people come at you in a certain way. You just got to be like, nah, what's going on with you? Sometimes you got to ask them, man, what's up with you? What's going on? You all right? Sometimes you're like, man, you okay? Make them stop and pause, like, damn, am I okay? I'm tripping right now.
Right.
But that's what it is. You got to sometimes, man, everything good with you? Because you were yelling and screaming and cursing and all this stuff that don't need to happen. What's going on? You all right? Make them reevaluate their approach.
I saw that in myself a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, perfect example. That's before I knew about that scripture a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I got pulled over by a cop, and he caught me running the red light. And when he came to the car, you know what I'm saying, before he even asked for a driver's license and insurance, I was already like, bro, I you know what, I was wrong. Hey, I did that, man.
Yeah.
And then he let me go. And then I had other times where it wasn't that because I know they was harassing me. And they came to the car, and I'm like, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
Put me over, then I'm in the cuffs going down.
Yeah, but see, the scriptures say agree with thy adversary quickly.
Right.
But then that's going with that smooth speech, that soft answer. You see that? And if you would have applied the wisdom in the situations where you knew that they were wrong,
Right.
it would have probably still been the same outcome where it's like, we gotta let this dude go, because we know we wrong.
Right.
You see that? But it's really about applying the wisdom in all situations and always having that balance and knowing that the wisdom is always going to work. The wisdom is always going to get me out of situations if it got to be applied though.
Right.
You see that? It got to be applied. You got to apply it in your household. You know, even if things aren't going good with your wife, your husband, that don't give you the justification to just talk wild and crazy to him. Oh, I wish I never met you. I don't like you. When you know deep down inside you wish you met her and you know you like her. Come on, stop. Because what happens is the emotions take over. That's what it is. When that breaking down of someone, it's you letting emotions come into it. And we don't want to be emotional when we talk. You got something?
Yeah, I had a situation at work a couple of days ago that I argued with somebody at work or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it was over some babies crap, you know, like there's these two stations that I work at. There's one right next to another, and like this guy that I work with, he's lazy and stuff. I don't treat him differently. I'm still nice to him and talk to him, whatever. But like the one station that I was working at, you know, he pushed me off. He made me, you know, I went to the other station because he didn't like using the other station or whatever. And like one day, and then like yesterday or the day before, I just argued with him about moving because it's an inconvenience to go to I work in a warehouse, and it's an inconvenience to have to move all my stuff to another station. Should I have just like let it go and let him have it? Or should I have just like stood up for myself? I wasn't like throwing words or anything. I just stood up for myself.
Who has the wisdom, him or you?
Me.
Okay, so watch this. And I don't want to get too much off the point.
Yeah, but like I say, we didn't yell or anything. I stood firm. You know what I mean? But I don't know if that was right or not.
Some things ain't even worth talking about.
Right.
You see that? Some things ain't even worth talking about because you know better. All right, what am I looking for? Where's it at? But go, you know which one I want? Yeah, go to 1 John. This is what you got to remember, and this goes right back into the class about how we talk and how we respond to things. Read that, 1 John chapter 4 and verse 4. Somebody get it?
Yep. Come on now, don't wait for anybody.
Yeah.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 4.
Go ahead.
Ye are of God.
Ye are of what?
Ye are of God.
Yeah, when you got this knowledge, you're supposed to be of the Most High. Read.
Little children.
Read.
And have overcome them.
Go ahead.
Because greater is he that is in you.
Read.
Than he that is in the world.
See, this is what the knowledge and the wisdom allows you to be. This is what having Christ allows you to be. It allows you to overcome. It allows you to be greater. You see that? Because why? You got the wisdom to know. I don't gotta talk about everything. I don't have to mention everything. I don't have to combat every single thing head on. Let me let that go. I know when to fight. Like you gotta know what battles to fight and what battles not to fight. But that's what the wisdom allows. See, that's part of application. It's even about when people say certain things to you. You don't gotta. Everything doesn't need a reply. Answer a fool according to his folly. Right? Everything don't need a reply. Or excuse me, it says answer not a fool according to his folly. You don't gotta respond to every single thing. But then there's some things that you do have to respond to. But you gotta know who you're dealing with. What type of person? Are they gonna receive what you're saying? Or are they just gonna brush it off like, well, no, I'm gonna start an argument. You see that? You gotta know. If I mention something to this guy about moving stations or whatever it may be, what type of guy is this?
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't me moving him. Like, I was at my stuff, and he started, like, pushing my, moving my stuff over. And even me, like, just ignoring him, started interfering with me actually being able to work and stuff.
And you gotta say something.
And
that's different.
That's what I meant. Like, that's what I meant. Should I have just been like, okay, well, I know the parable about Jesus and how the man sat at the head of the table and like, no, you gotta move to the back of the table because you're there. I didn't know whether I should be the Christian kind of person and just let it go because it was something stupid, but at the same time, like, I feel like I don't want to be a pushover.
You gotta defend yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I was wondering, if I should have done the Jesus parable thing, or if I should have just
this is the thing. If he's pushing you out of a station, and you gotta say something. Obviously.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump back.
Yeah, give me
You can drop to John.
Yeah.
And jump back. Go ahead.
Go to John chapter 6 and verse 63. And with that, this is definitely what the Hispanic, Native American, and black man needs. Because our parents never taught us how to deal. They never taught us how to talk, speak. All they taught us was to say yes ma'am, yes sir. No sir, no ma'am. That's it. It wasn't really how to deal with people, how to interact with people. Because we never interact with anybody. We're always loners. We don't know how to speak. We don't know how to calm down situations. We don't know how to get out of situations. But Allison, you got a question?
I just kind of I came up with an analogy a little bit.
Okay.
In Proverbs, and I was thinking I watch a lot of CSI shows, and so there's like sometimes
that's real because, you know, even the scriptures that we're going to right now is right on point because, read that.
St. John chapter 6 and verse 63.
Mm-hmm.
It is the spirit that quickeneth.
It says, it is the spirit that quickeneth. I need somebody to give me that definition of quickeneth. Read it from the top.
It is the spirit that quickeneth.
Read.
The flesh profited nothing.
Anybody got that definition? Definition of quickeneth. You know, that's one thing we want to do with the Bible. These precepts, we want to understand what these words are rather than just reading it. So let's understand what the word quickeneth mean. Anybody have it? I'm one.
To spring to life or stimulate, become animated.
Right. So it says, it is the spirit that maketh alive. It is the spirit that give life, because quickeneth means give life as well. Read that from the top.
It is the spirit. It is the spirit that quickeneth.
Read.
The flesh profited nothing.
Read.
The words that I speak unto you.
It says the words that I speak unto you. Read.
They are spirit. And they are life.
So what you're saying, Allison, is right on point because the words that we speak are spirit and they are life. This is what gives somebody life. This is what gives somebody that optimistic thought in their brain to change whatever that they have going on, their negative vibe that they have. So definitely, man, you know, the words that we speak is definitely or will be able to change a person's mind frame, change a person's decision. But a lot of times we don't understand it. We don't even see it. But the thing about it, all you have to do is just relax, take time, and understand what's going on during that situation, like that guy, right? The scripture does say, it says, answer a fool not according to his folly, but then it says, answer a fool according to his folly, if he's wise in his own conceit. You know what that means is to, you know what, listen, why are you pushing my stuff? Ask him. Hold on, why are you pushing my stuff? I'm right here.
Right.
And then you just start going in from there, but not in the negative state. It's like, I want to understand why you're doing this because this is actually my stuff. You can win souls. The Spirit says, what is he that winneth souls?
He that winneth souls is what?
He that winneth souls is wise.
He that is wise wins souls.
Yeah, he that is wise winneth souls, and that's what we're out here to do. We're out here to win these souls. But how is that? By our speech. The word.
But what speech is it? It says it's the spirit that quickeneth. The words that I speak to you, they are spirit and they are life. But what words? I can say anything to a person. Is it gonna build them?
Yeah, maybe not.
But so then, what do we got to make sure of? That the words that we're speaking are the right words. Go to 1 Peter 4:11.
Yeah, I like to talk to those guys too at lunch too about like empowering themselves, like getting their own business, getting out of that mentality of the grind, the daily grind.
What do they say?
One of them likes to, the street takes care of me. Okay, brother, that's cool, man.
But see, this is the reason. But this is going right to that point where, see, we have the tendency, and I do it a lot too, where I'll just talk the scriptures.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm trying to get better at, okay, no, let's just go there. Because I know what it says.
Yeah.
Right? I know that it says whatever it says.
Right.
But now it's up for me to show you.
Come on.
So go to 1 Peter 4:11.
1 Peter chapter 4, verse 11.
Go ahead.
If any man speak,
If any man talks, opens his damn mouth, he got to do what?
let him speak as the oracles of the Most High.
Yeah, look up the word oracle. So you got to speak as the oracles of the Most High. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of the Most High. Who got the definition? Read on while they get that.
If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which the Most High giveth.
Yeah, how does the Most High give us the ability to minister? What is a minister? Somebody get oracle, somebody get minister. Y'all got to understand this because this is very important.
If y'all can get that quick, please. Twitter
Somebody
fingers.
Somebody get oracle. What you got, Amoana?
A person through whom.
What definition?
Oracle.
Okay, go ahead.
A person through whom a deity is believed to speak prophecies.
Right? So you basically speaking the prophecies. You're the go-between, right? Allison?
I have another definition for oracle.
Go ahead.
A wise sentence or decision of great authority.
Okay, what you got?
Minister.
Oh, wait, hold off on that.
Okay.
Just hold that for a minute. So read it again, Ray.
Come. It says, if any man speak let him speak as the oracles of the Most High.
Right. So I don't want to. What was your definition again? I think I liked it.
A person through whom a deity is believed to speak.
Right. So basically, if you speak in the oracles of the Most High, you speak in the Word. You see that? Read on.
God, if any man minister.
If any man minister, what is a minister?
It is a member of the clergy, especially in. Okay, well that doesn't matter.
Or to minister.
Yeah. Okay, and the superior of some religious orders, a head of government department, a diplomatic agent, a person or there it goes. A person or thing used to achieve or convey something.
Right. So if any man is going to convey anything, go ahead.
God, let him do it as the ability of which the Most High giveth.
Right, but you do it, the ability that the Most High gives you is through the Word, through the oracle. You see that? So the only way you can minister is by using the Word. Is by speaking the oracles. Y'all understand that?
God.
You get it, sis? You good? Read on.
That the Most High in all things may be glorified through Yahweh Shah.
Some things?
All things.
Go ahead.
May be glorified through Yahweh Shah.
Go ahead.
To whom be praise and dominion forever and ever.
Right, because the whole purpose is to glorify the Most High in Christ. It ain't for a man's glory. It ain't for a man to say like, oh, I know some great knowledge. Because then it's like, well, now we got to depend on that man's knowledge every single time. What if his knowledge don't work? You see that? But no, we know that the knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding of the Most High in Christ, that's going to work. If you have patience and you allow it to work. Right? So that's what we should be speaking. When it says, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. This is how we're supposed to come. Through the oracles of the Most High, if any man speak. If you're going to minister, counsel, it ain't going to be your own words. It's supposed to be the words of the Most High in Christ so that they're lifted up, so that they're magnified, to show their glory. You see that? Go ahead.
Give me Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 2 on that. On that scripture, Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 2.
And again, we gotta really evaluate the way things come out of our mouths, man, and the effect that it has on people. You know, I always say that you can say the same thing to two different people, and if you just change your tone, it'll be two different interpretations. They'll receive, but either way, people are going to receive things differently anyway. But you can change the tone to make it just seem like something totally different. And it's up to you to understand that. It's up to you to know my tone. How are they going to interpret my tone? Because that's interpreted. The look on my face when I say it. That all goes into play. Y'all know that, right? The way you look when you say certain things. Yeah, you can look like you don't give a damn. The look on your face, like, damn, she look like she don't even give a damn. You ain't even got to say it. I can see it. But then when you say it, that just adds to the I don't give a damn. Or I don't care, or I don't want to be here, or I do want to be here. You know, your enthusiasm. And then when you say things with the exclamation, right? You can feel the exclamation points at the end of a person's sentence if they got that zeal or that hypeness in them. Y'all understand that? Somebody have your hand up. Jeremiah, you got your hand. You were about to say something. Okay, it's all good. It'll come back. Go ahead. Get Proverbs 15 and verse 2.
Proverbs chapter 15 verse 2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright.
Yeah, it says the tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright. Just like 1 Peter 4 and 1, talking about the oracles of the Most High. Read that again from the top.
The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright.
Yeah, it said the tongue of the wise, man. That's what we use, this knowledge. Give me Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6, real quick on that. Read.
But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness.
Yeah, but the mouths of fools poureth out foolishness. And that's what we got to understand, man, that our people are extremely foolish and they have no knowledge. But read that, Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 on that note.
Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Yeah, because we don't have knowledge of the Most High, man. The Hispanic, Native American, and black man, when it comes to dealing, talking, you don't know. And that's why you get destroyed daily. Like you said, your adversary can be your wife too, man. Out here on the street, you got the police officers. You don't know how to speak to them. You don't know how to speak to your bosses in the job. That's why you get fired. You talking about, oh, they don't understand me? No, man. It's because you don't know how to talk. You could have talked your way out of the situation that you were in. The words that you used. Because you have no knowledge. Read. Stand up, Ray. I'm not doing that. Read.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
But the thing about it, this book, the Bible, is giving us the knowledge of how to deal with people. Read that again, Ray.
The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright.
Yeah, we got to understand, like I said, sweet words turns away wrath. Right?
Soft answer turn away much wrath. Yep.
Read.
But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness.
Yeah, man. The mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. They have no direction. They don't understand how to speak. They don't understand how to navigate through this world. How to get raises. How to speak to the boss. Listen, boss. You know, I've been working here about 2.5 years. You know, I've been very digital. I've been tracking all my statistics, my data. Been doing pretty good. You think I can get a raise? You know, who knows? He may be like, you know what? Go ahead. But then you may be like, listen, I've been up in here all day long. I seen John got a raise. How come I didn't get a raise? I deserve a raise. Man, like, bro, move around. Yeah, it's because the way that you came at him, the way that you dealt. I'm trying to tell you, man.
And it goes deeper, even into the households where brothers don't know how to. They don't know the right words and the right timing when to say certain things. You know, it's also timing. It's how you say it, what you say, and the timing. And so, you know, you might say something thinking that I'm edifying or I'm teaching, but you're breaking down a person because your timing is off. Y'all understand that, right? Timing is everything. They say timing is everything. And if your timing is off, it don't matter what you say. If it's not the right time for it, then it don't even matter. It's not going to reach a person. You know, and so that's another thing we gotta be careful of is our timing in situations.
I was gonna say on that, because it could sound like you're picking at them on the situation, or you're just being a a-hole about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then so in doing that, that person that you're speaking to, their defenses are already up, so you can't get through to them. Yeah. And when you're actually trying to deliver the knowledge.
Yeah, you thinking like, oh, I'm trying to build and teach, and they're like, why the hell are you picking on me? Because the timing is off. The time is not right. You gotta, you know, but it all goes back to this right here. Go read Proverbs 15:2 one more time.
The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright.
Yeah, see, even not the knowledge is going to tell you when to say things and when not. Knowing the situation in and out is going to tell you, oh, let me hold off on what I'm about to say here. That might offend. That might sound wrong. That might come off wrong. Let me reword it. Y'all see that?
Come on.
The knowledge is going to enable you to do that. What was the next scripture? Y'all with us so far? What's the next scripture? Where we at?
Give me Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16.
And this is just to show once again, you know, how the Most High looks upon our speech and what comes out of our mouth. Because it's extremely important. You know, once again, our people don't know what pleases the Most High. We don't know what irks the Most High. And the way we speak does that. What comes out of our mouth does that. Read.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate, yet 7 are an abomination unto him.
Read that again.
These 6 things doeth the Lord hate.
It says, these 6 things do the Lord hate. Read.
Yet 7 are an abomination unto him.
All right.
A proud look.
Just like the brother was talking about, a proud look. You got a look on your face that can't nobody tell you nothing. That you already know the answer. You already know what's going on. The Most High said he hates a proud look. Read.
A lying tongue.
Yeah, and that's whatever may come off your tongue. If it's a little white lie, whatever it may be, it says a lying tongue. Read.
And hands that shed innocent blood.
Read.
And heart that deviseth wicked imagination.
Yeah, it says a heart that devises wicked imagination. What's going on in your mind? And this is what it turns into. Read.
Feet that be swift into running to mischief.
Right. Read.
A false witness that speaketh lies.
Yes, it says a false witness that speaketh lies. Right. Read.
And he that soweth discord among brethren.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand about whenever you sow discord among brethren, a lot of times that's your speech, man. The words that you say, the things that you your emotions that you feel at that present time, it actually affects people around you, man. Once again, the spirit that you come in, the words that you use. Read that last precept.
And he that soweth discord among brethren.
Right, it says, and he that soweth discord among brethren. Yeah, these are things that the Most High, that is defiled to the Most High. That's an abomination to him. And that's why a lot of times we don't even understand that. The words that we use, how we affect our brothers, the Most High does not like that.
Yeah, when you sow discord, I mean, it has to come through speech. You got to be telling one person one thing, another thing. You know, they got to be hearing different things to say, well, we're no longer on the same accord. We're no longer speaking the same things or hearing the same things. So that discord comes through ill speech, right? And then where are we going to go next?
We go straight down to it. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 18. And this is just going more into just how our communication can be negative.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 18.
Read that.
A man of an ill tongue is dangerous in his city.
Read that again.
A man of an ill tongue is dangerous in his city.
Yeah, a man that basically can't control his tongue. A man that doesn't understand what comes out of his mouth, that just speaks rather than thinks first. When this individual makes statements that he'll regret later on, or she'll regret later on. Read it again.
A man of an ill tongue is dangerous in his city.
Read.
And he that is rash in his talk shall be hated.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people don't really deal with you, man. Because of words that actually come out of your mouth. How you speak to people, man. It does a lot.
Look up that word rash, and then somebody give me Ecclesiastes 5:1 in the Apocrypha. Look up the word rash, R-A-S-H, and then give me Ecclesiastes 5 and verse 1.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 1.
Let's make sure they all get it. What you got for rash?
Displaying or proceeding from a lack of careful consideration.
A lack of what?
Careful consideration.
Go ahead.
Of the possible consequences of an action.
Yeah, it says a man of an ill tongue is dangerous in the city, and he that is rash in his talk shall be hated. He that doesn't think about the consequence is going to be hated. Why? Because when he talks, he offends. When he talks, instead of building, he breaking people down. When he talks, it's the wrong timing. Y'all understand that? We got to be very careful when we talk. And we got to also remember this. There's a time and place for everything. There's a time to break down. But there's a time to build. There's a time to cut. There's a time to heal. Y'all understand that, right? Where the talk, everyone's not going to come in the same force or the same meekness. There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. But you can't be one-sided all the time, like I'm just going to yell at everybody. Or I'm just going to be meek and humble all the time, brothers. There has to be that time when you turn that fire up. You might turn that fire up on your rib. You know, but she has to understand that also. Read Ecclesiastes 5 and verse 1.
Set not thy heart upon thy goods.
Oh, so Ecclesiastes in the Bible. I'm sorry.
Okay.
In the Bible. Ecclesiastes in the Bible. 5 and verse 1.
Come.
Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God.
If you're going to read, you got to stand there and read.
Yeah. And what you want to do whenever you read, you want to say the book and the verse.
Oh,
yes, just like the other brothers are doing.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that everybody gets it before you start reading. Y'all got it? Con means yes for everybody. Con means yes. Go ahead and read that.
Ecclesiastes, chapter 5, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh.
Go ahead.
And be more ready to hear.
And be more ready to what?
To hear.
See, and that's the problem where if you're not ready to hear, but you're more ready to talk, this is where that rash communication, this is where that ill communication comes from. So it says, be more ready to hear. Go ahead.
than to be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools.
Yeah, the sacrifice of a fool is his mouth just blabbing, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead.
For they consider not that they do evil.
Think about it, because life and death are in the power of the tongue. They're not considering that I'm doing evil by the way I'm talking. Read on.
Chapter 2.
Verse 2.
Verse 2. Be not rash with thy mouth.
Be not what?
Be not rash with thy mouth.
Yeah, see, the Bible is reiterated. Be not rash with thy mouth. Be not inconsiderate with your mouth. What, Damashai, you had your hand up?
Just have the definition.
Oh, I think we already got that. You got another one?
It just says displaying or proceeding from a lack of careful. Oh yeah.
Yeah, lack of consideration, right? So it's telling us, don't be inconsiderate. Don't be inconsiderate with your mouth. Go ahead.
Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before Yahweh.
Yeah, don't let your mind just blurt things. Don't let your mind hit your mind and it hits your mouth. You got a potty mouth. You got what they call it? You got diarrhea of the mouth where you just you think it and you say it. You gotta have a filter. We gotta filter things. We gotta, again, timing, how it's said, what's being said. Even in think about this though. A lot of times we don't talk, right? We text. That's like the new communication. Everything's written, everything's text, messages. You know how many times I'll be getting ready to text something in a response, and I gotta look at it and say, okay, who's gonna be offended? Who's not gonna be offended? Is that the right thing to say? Delete. Let me use different words. Let me use less words. Damashai.
Just on that, like, the whole woman said it, he said something like that. He said, because, like, when you text some people might take it the wrong way, and you're like, that's not even how it was supposed to get sent that way.
Right.
He said, if you have something to tell, like, if you have something to tell somebody, that's why he said, there's miscommunication when you text people. If you got something to say, it's better to just call them, and that way they hear the tone, and it's not like it's taken negatively.
Right, because guess what? I don't give a damn who you are. You can't hear somebody's tone through text. You perceive the tone of what you think it should be.
She sounds mad.
Yeah, she sounds mad, but did you talk to her or did you text? Like, how the hell did she sound mad through a text? Okay, how many happy faces you put, exclamation, smiley faces. I can make a text look like whatever I want it to look like.
Right.
But is it meaning what I want it to mean or how I really mean? No, you can't perceive somebody through text. Like, damn, she sounded mad in that text. Like, how the hell you know? Listen, I used to think I could do that. Like, I know how you feel through text. Like, no, you need to hear a person.
Right. Listen,
you gotta hear them.
Yeah, you know you can add that on a text. You could actually put your voice on there, record your voice, and send it on text.
Yeah.
Come on now.
But we gotta get past that and just communicate.
Yeah.
And talk, and get off the text and stop thinking that we can perceive things through somebody. Like, I know your tone through text. Like, what the hell? What were you gonna say?
I get it. I mean, just by the text, because a lot of people that say, okay, so you see somebody, they're texting regular. It's all lowercase lowercase letters. So it's like, okay, well, they're just talking. And then you see them in caps, because the woman be like,
why are you yelling?
Why are you yelling?
I might have just hit the caps button by accident. I do that a lot. Like, I hit it and I'm like,
I like how it look.
I ain't deleting that. Why are you yelling? Like, huh? I've gotten people do that. Like, I'm in caps. They're like, why are you yelling? I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, because I got the caps on. That don't make sense.
Right.
It don't make sense. You know, we gotta. And then it breeds all these different misconceptions, and then you don't talk to the person, and then what? Evil eye and suspicious, and now all of a sudden they hate me, and then you didn't follow the scriptures where it says go to your brother, and then more offenses come. So we got to be careful of that too, where we think we can perceive things through text.
Right. Yeah, like Zion said, he keep it on caps. I had asked him one time. I was like, bro, why you always text me in caps?
That's how I come
You
out.
think what? Because you thought he was yelling at you?
No, I didn't. I didn't think he was yelling at me. I was just
I
like,
was wondering, like,
why?
caps lock broke.
I don't care. I'm not tech savvy.
What's up, Madeline?
There was a question online pertaining to the topic.
Is there a question? What was the question?
It says, how can you tell if the reason they aren't receiving what you are saying is because of the way you communicate with them, or if the person is just not ready or willing to receive what you say to them? That was from Zane Olay.
How can you tell? I gotta read it. Let me see. How can you tell if a person is not? How can you tell if a person? How can you tell if the reason they aren't receiving what you're saying is because of the way you communicate with them, or if the person's just not ready? Oh, okay, to receive what you. Well, then you gotta ask more questions. That's the thing. You gotta ask more questions. Do you get it? No, I don't get it. Okay, let me explain it in a different way. See, it's called the art of communication, where it's not just let me throw something out there and just hope and pray that you understand what I'm saying. Or let me throw it out there one way and, oh, you're supposed to get this, and if you don't, you off. Nah. You talk to a person, and then you confirm, did you get the information I gave you or not? You got it? Okay, did you understand it? Okay, you understood it? Okay, well, go ahead and do what I said that you're supposed to do. They do whatever you said, you come back, you look, well, you didn't do it right, so obviously there was a break in the communication. What part did you not understand? It's about taking the time to really communicate and communicate properly. Y'all understand that? That's what it really boils down to. You know, our people have this this laziness when it comes to communication. So we just want to yell things. We just want to take the shortcuts. Everything is an emoji. Everything is a acronym. LOL. I remember I had to learn all these acronyms. Like, what the hell does this mean? IGFB, this, LMFAO. Like, I didn't know what all this stuff. AF, LM. Let me know, what is it? There was a bunch. I'm like, what does that mean? Talk to you later. Yeah, but we get lazy when it comes to communicating. But then we get lazy when it comes to receiving info. We get lazy in our speech, where everything is an abbreviation. I had a thing where I take the G off of everything, and everything is an IN. It's supposed to end with an ING, but I just ended with an IN. Like sinning. Sinning. Yeah, singing. Oh, it's wrong. It's messed up. Because then people will be like, what is he talking about? Sinning. Singing. Singing. But it's just, we gotta get that laziness up off us when it comes to our communication. So if they're not receiving you, you gotta figure out what way are you coming? How are you coming with your information? And you'll know if a person just don't want to receive what you're saying, or if they don't understand. You'll know. But you gotta, again, know those that labor amongst you. It's better to deal with people face to face or over the phone. You can hear a tone. You can hear how they sound when they respond. You can look them in the eye. You know, it's better that way. Let's jump back. Where we at? Ecclesiastes, right?
Yep.
It says, so read verse 2. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 2. Read verse 2 again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 2.
Go ahead.
Be not rash with thy mouth.
Go ahead.
Let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before Yahweh, for Yahweh is in heaven.
Because the haste comes in, I'm gonna think it and just say it. I'm not gonna think it and then consider what I'm saying. Y'all understand that? So we don't want to be rash with our mouth. We don't want to say things to people that's gonna. People are always gonna be offended. Let's get that out the way. People are always gonna be offended, but you don't have to be that offense. Y'all know what I mean by that? What do I mean by that?
Well, I mean, you know.
Raise your hand, Jeremiah. You gotta raise our hands.
That you don't have to you don't have to take everything to heart that's being said.
True, but not what I was looking for.
Everybody's going to be offended, but if you think about exactly what you mean and look at it from every perspective, maybe, you know, you can downplay the hurt.
Okay.
If you were the girl in the world that always had the attitude, you don't have to be that girl anymore. You can take the attitude out of it, consider the person you're speaking to, and fine-tune your conversation so that you don't offend them, so you don't have the attitude.
That's a good one too, but look at it like this. It goes back to the scripture we pulled earlier. If any man speak, let him speak the oracles of the Most High. Why? Now there's no emotion there. You see that? Now you're not, now if you react in an emotional way, you're not reacting emotional to me. You just don't want to deal with the most I got to say. You see that? So people are always going to be offended, but you don't have to be the offense. Meaning, if I'm doing my job, if a person comes to me with an ill spirit, and I'm just like, well, the scriptures say this, the scriptures say this, the scriptures say this, then the Bible is saying it. This is what the Most High is saying. It ain't my words. So you can't be mad at me and say, well, you offended me because you pulled a scripture. You just got to make sure your scriptures line up with the problem and they apply. But they can still be offended. Why? Because now they don't want to hear the solutions. They don't want to hear the Bible. But that doesn't mean, but it's not coming from you. You see what I'm saying? Where people are going to be offended, but you don't have to be that person that offends. Because you're not answering it in your own words. It's not your own saying. You're coming with the wisdom. So if you're offended by the wisdom, then you got to reevaluate your thoughts. But if now I come with if Jeremiah hits me up like, man, you know, I didn't like the way you talked to me yesterday. And if I come with, man, F you, you just soft, you a punk, obviously he's going to be like, what the hell? I'm offended by that. Right? You can take that very offensive. But if I come with the balance on the scriptures, like, well, listen, the scriptures say this, to the meek and to the forward. The reason why I did this, because, look, think about when Christ was talking with people. Did he always come one way? You know, there got to be a balance. There got to be this. There got to be that. And to show, like, look, did I cuss you out? No, I just raised my voice. Christ was a bold and austere man. You know, show things through the Bible. Now it's like, well, now I got to battle with the wisdom and not with this man. Y'all get that? But then now the offense is going to come where a man is going to be like, well, I don't want to attain to what the Bible is saying. So he might be offended there with the Bible. But if he's offended with the Bible, I'd rather a man be offended with the Bible than with me. Because then he got to deal with that through the Most High in Christ. What's up?
I'm about to say the Bible even tell you, you know, maybe I may be rude in speech, but not in knowledge. You really have to think about the person you're dealing with and how they mind are. Do they have the knowledge? Do they don't? And then it says, you know, that you know, it tells you that truly you be manifest among you in all things.
Where you at?
Oh, 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 6. It says, but though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been truly made manifest among you in all things.
Because you know what it's showing?
Yeah.
Like, I might be rude in speech, but not in knowledge, but we've been made manifest. Meaning, you know my intentions.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to do. We ain't here to break you or kick you or pimp you. The rude speech might come to you in, well, he raised his tone. Or he might have said a cuss word or two. But you know that my intention is not to destroy or break you down, but it's really to motivate. You see that? What were you going to say?
A lot of our people are so used to the effeminate man and how
Yeah.
they speak. So when a man speak with authority or be authoritative when he speak, they take offense to that because they're not used to that. They're not used to. But Christ, when you read the scripture, he upbraided the people when he spake to them sometimes, meaning to speak rough.
Yeah, he spoke rough. And I mean, that was his characteristics and his nature.
Right.
You know, yeah, like it's perfect what you said. We're not used to a lot of brothers ain't, a lot of our people aren't used to that. They're used to growing up with mom. Oh, poor little baby. Poor little Timmy scraped his knee. Let's get you a Band-Aid, little boo-boo. And then you talk to them in that baby talk. Boo-boo, ga-ga, goo. All the way from their in the womb to they're 7 years old. You goo-goo goggling them. And then from 7 all the way to they're a grown man, it's like, oh, my little baby. They never get no real stern talking to. And then when a brother like me comes around, like, what the hell's your problem? It's like, oh my God, he cussed me out. It's like, what? I just said, what's your problem? I didn't cuss you out. All I did was raise my voice and be a man. Right? That's all it is. But our people aren't used to that, like you said. Now it's a good scripture that he pulled. Though I be rude in speech, but not in knowledge, I may manifest you in all things. You know the intent. You know, but even then, do I got to be rude in speech all the time? No, I'm going to be rude all the damn time. Because the knowledge affords me to know when to be sarcastic, when to be caring with my words, when to be nurturing, right? Because brothers can be nurturing with their words. That's part of that growth in that building. When to blaze a cat, when to turn up on a brother, when to turn down, when to go into his spirit, or when to coddle him. Sometimes you got to do all that in one talk with some brothers. You got to blaze them, coddle him, build him, break him down, and then rebuild him. Sometimes you got to do that all in 2 hours. All in one conversation, one counsel with some brothers, with some sisters. You got to blaze that spirit, and you got to come back, and you got to build them back up to show them, like, look, I had to cut that spirit out of you with the word, but then now I'm going to build you. Look, man, you messed up, but look, you ain't wicked, so let's get back on it. Y'all get that? Where we at?
Yeah, just on it, just give me 1 Thessalonians 5:12. Just on this topic what we're going over right now. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 12, because you know the wisdom is what's that? The wisdom of Solomon is the wisdom is manifold.
Oh yeah, it says it says wisdom is manifold. I got you. But no, go ahead.
Give me that 1 Thessalonians 5 and 12, because this is one major thing as well, because we're not just talking about individuals on the street, taxi drivers. You know, no, we're talking about. Well, really, we're talking about them, but more importantly, those around that you deal daily, that you see daily. Read this.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 12.
Read.
And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you.
Like the brother pulled earlier, is to know them that labor amongst you. Understand what gets this person mad. Understanding what makes them happy, especially your spouse. You have to literally know who you're dealing with. Because from then, that's how you can go ahead and start with the communication. You know, listen, she may not like when I talk loud to her like that. So you know what? I'm going to come down in a nice little soft voice. Listen, I'm going to need you to do this and that. You know, but once again, you're knowing the person that you're around. You're trying to get a positive a reaction out of them, out of what you're trying to tell them. Read.
And are over you in the Lord. And admonishing you.
Right, read.
And to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake.
Keep reading.
And be at peace among yourselves.
This is what I wanted to get. Read.
Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly.
Yeah, so like the brother was saying, sometimes you have to get a little tough. You got to raise your voice a little bit. Though I may be rude in speech, but not in knowledge. Listen, warn them that are unruly. They listen. It's probably those that are unruly. The soft talkings and the sweet honeycomb words obviously wasn't enough. So it has to be turned up. But once again, this is another angle at your speech. Read.
Comfort the feeble-minded.
Yeah, comfort the feeble-minded. I need a definition of feeble-minded. Read.
Well, feeble means to be weak.
Right.
Yeah, so weak-minded.
Support the weak.
Right.
Be patient towards all men.
Yeah, it says support the weak and be patient toward all men. So we're dealing with all different types of people at all different situations. So a lot of times we don't have to come at everybody with the same energy, with the same intensity. So once again, it's just knowing those that are around you and understand how your words are. Because once again, our words can either bring down or can rise them up. Give me Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 24. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 24. You have any questions? Yep. Any type of situations that anybody needs some edification on that may help them in their life, help them in their day? Read that.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 24.
Right. And Ray, I want you to get Colossians chapter 4 and verse 6. Read that.
Pleasant words are as an honeycomb.
Read that again.
Pleasant words are as an honeycomb.
Yeah, pleasant words are as a honeycomb. And those are even to those individuals that's in your life that's a little hot-headed, that may be a little angry. Listen, you can cut their whole spirit of anger with a pleasant word. It could be like, listen, what's going on? How you feeling? You all right? Look a little mad. You know what I'm saying? Anything that can actually change their spirit. But read that second precept.
Sweet to the soul.
Read.
And health to the bone.
Yeah, because that's what our words can be. Our words can literally heal people. Heal them to the bone. Whatever situation that they have going on, whatever problem. Like I said, it was a perfect example whenever me and Ray was in the mall. Listen, old girl ran off. The other girl stayed, had to talk to her, calmed her down when she understood though. Cause it could have went a whole another angle. But how we dealt with the situation was like, listen, we don't deal like that. Listen to why we don't deal like that. Listen to how I want to break it down to you rather than just go into you and be like, listen, you got to move around. We ain't got no time for that. Over here at the car because we're making money. No, I was like, man, listen, I'm going to take time to explain ourselves. Explain why you thought that we may have did something ill to you, but we really didn't. But the reason being is because I had the pleasant words rather than just going in. But that does, it changed people. Read that from the top.
16, Proverbs chapter 16, verse 24. Pleasant words are as in honeycomb.
Read.
Sweet to the soul. And health to the bone.
Yeah, but a lot of times we don't think about that. We don't think about alternate avenues to deal with people, to deal with their spirits, to deal with our family members. There's alternate ways in how we rashly think in our mind that we should speak to somebody. But this is the wisdom that the Most High has given us in the Bible to deal with people.
Can I get one right in there?
Go ahead.
Go to Proverbs 12 and verse 18. We're talking about words that are supposed to be health, right?
Okay.
Get that. Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 18.
Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 18.
Go ahead.
There is that speaketh like the piercing of a sword.
Yeah, you got brothers out there, sisters out there, when they talk, their words pierce you like a sword. A sword is meant to kill. It's meant to wound, right?
Okay.
Some people have piercing words. Go ahead.
But the tongue of the wise is health.
But see, there it goes again. But the tongue of the wise. See, a person that's using the wisdom, a person that knows how to how to wield their sword, is health. You're gonna build a person up. And again, we always got to remember that there is a time and a place for all these things. There's a time to build. There's a time to break. Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, just on that, give me Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 30.
Proverbs chapter 11 verse 30.
Right.
The fruit of the righteous is as a tree of life.
It says the fruit of the righteous is as a tree of the life. Read.
And he that winneth souls is wise.
Yeah, man, that's what we're out here trying to do. We're trying to win souls. But how do we win souls? By speaking to people. Literally. By winning them. By giving them help. Giving them, making their bones come alive. Speaking life into them. Like I said, it says that our words are spirit and life. Because that's what we're out here doing. Read that again.
The fruit of the righteous is as a tree of life.
Right.
And he that winneth souls is wise.
Yeah, he that winneth souls is wise. He that understands how to speak to people is wise. Read that, Ray. What you got?
Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace.
Slow it down. Hold on. Read from the top.
Come on. Let your speech be always with grace.
Yeah, it says, let your speech be with grace. Where you at?
Colossians chapter 4, verse 6.
Yeah, it says, let your speech be always with grace, which means that understanding of what's coming out of your mouth. Have an understanding of the words that you choose to use.
Check this out. Even when Christ was calling the Pharisees and the Sadducees serpents and vipers, it was like an elegance with it. Right. You know what I'm saying? There was an elegance with his delivery and the things that he was saying and the way he was saying it and showing them, look, I'm not just gonna call you out your name just to do it, right? But this is how you act. This is how you're acting. This is what you're being like. You know, Christ always had elegant speech. When you listen to him talk, or can't listen to him talk, but when you read the words, he had godlike speech, where everything was in its place, everything was everything was on time. He knew when to cut, he knew when to lift you up, he knew when to be sarcastic. Think about the woman at the well. He cut her, healed her, was sarcastic with her, broke her down, built her up. I was like, damn. He called her a whore. He told her that she was a child. He said all these things to her. but in elegance. I mean, he called her a whore without calling her a whore.
You got 5 husbands.
Yeah, you got 5 husbands. You know, he was breaking her down in a way where, you know, you gotta be, you really gotta be in the spiritual mind to be able to deal with a person like that. And, you know, he knew what was coming out of his mouth. He knew what he was gonna say before it was said. But why? He was led of the wisdom. He was led of the spirit. Y'all understand that? Go ahead.
Give me a Matthew chapter 10 and verse 7 on that. You know, Christ definitely understood how to deal with people. But one thing is that, you know, Christ had the wisdom. And the people that he was dealing with did not have the wisdom. And that's what we have to understand as well. The people that we deal with, whenever y'all in this Bible right here, man, this is y'all's safety core. This is y'all preserver. This is y'all's first aid kit that nobody else got. Literally. But when dealing with others, when talking with others, we have to keep in our mind that these individuals are sick. These individuals aren't enlightened people. Read that.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 7. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Yeah, so this is Christ telling his disciples, listen, before he sent them out, listen, go ahead, preach, let them know the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Read.
Heal the sick.
It says heal the sick, but how are they healing the sick? They had to go and deal with them. They had to go talk with them. Read.
Cleanse the lepers.
It says cleanse the lepers. Read.
Raise the dead.
Come on.
Cast out devils.
Yeah, and with casting out devils, they was casting out with their mouths. The words that came out of their mouth. Read.
Freely have ye received, freely give.
And that's the same thing that we do daily. We have to understand that people that we deal with, even though sometimes they get on our nerves and they irk us, we want to just, you know, snap the little neck, but we can't do that. Why? Because we have the wisdom. We're out here to do the same thing that the disciples did, to heal, to raise the dead, to cast. You know what's so crazy? The people in the world, the people that we deal with in our jobs, they're dead. They're literally dead. And
go ahead, you got it. And this is the thing, just on that point, where, think about it, Christ was able to heal people through the hem of his garment, right? The woman touched his garment, was healed, right? He was laying hands on people. We don't have that power. The only thing you got is the word. That's what we got to realize. The only thing that we have to heal is the word. That's it. You can't touch a person and all of a sudden the devil is out of them. Nah, you got to talk to him. I mean, I wish we had that power. Like, this brother got demons. Right? Get up out of him, Satan. Right. But now it's more of you got to be a wordsmith. You got to know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. And that's what we got to get better at, is who we dealing with, what to say, when to say it, how to say it, who, what, where, when, how. We have to get a lot better at that. And it really just comes with critical situational thinking, where I'm in a situation. That's why, go back to St. John 6 and 63 real quick. I'm going to show you something. St. John 6 and 63. Ray, get it.
Go on. St. John chapter 6, verse 63.
Read.
It is the spirit that quickeneth.
Yeah, see, that's why you have to be in the spirit. Because the spirit is going to quicken you in the situation. It's going to make you sharper than everything around you. To where now you can think faster. You can think better. You move faster in situations. The spirit is supposed to quicken you to where you're like, okay, I already know where you're about to go before you go. Right. I know what you're going to say before you say it. I'm not going to cut you off. I'm going to let you say it, but I already have the conversation in my head. I know where you're about to go. I've been here before. The spirit is supposed to bring all things to your remembrance, so it's going to quicken you. It is the spirit that quickeneth. You see that? So that's the whole goal, is if you keep your mind in the word, in the spirit of the Most High, it's going to quicken you in these situations where you can think faster and then be able to think before you speak. And now the right things are going to come out of your mouth. Why do you think when Christ dealt with the woman at the well, he knew her whole life before she even rolled up on him? You know, he knew everything about her. Why? He knew what type of demeanor she was coming in. He knew her spirit. He knew what was going on with her, and he was able to call her out and check her on certain things before she spoke. But why? He was in that spiritual mind. Because it's the spirit that quickeneth. The spirit is going to keep you sharp. and keep your mind alive. Y'all understand that? Jump back.
Yeah, where you at?
Matthew chapter 10, verse 8.
Oh, that's it with that. And you can go jump down. We're almost done. You can jump down to give me Colossians chapter 4 and verse 6. Oh no, we already get that. No, give me this. Give me Colossians chapter 3 and verse 8. You know, and with that,
Well, yeah, I mean, go ahead. Yeah, people to show that the wisdom. Go ahead.
give me hold that Ray, give me Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 and verse 18. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 and verse 18.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 18.
Read.
For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed.
Yeah, so that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be reforming ourselves to the knowledge and the wisdom of the Bible.
With the knowledge. We're supposed to be reformed by the knowledge.
Right.
That's the thing. The knowledge is supposed to change the old way of the way we did things. Put off the old man and put on the new.
Right.
Colossians chapter 3 and verse 9, right?
God.
Supposed to put off that old man, put on the new man that's renewed in the spirit of Christ. Go ahead.
And men were taught the things that were pleasing unto thee.
Yeah, men were taught things that was pleasing to the Most High. Now we understand how to operate. Now we understand how to deal with our people, because that's mainly what we're here for, is for our people. Brothers, sisters, children, we're here to lift them up. Read.
God, and we're saved through wisdom.
Yeah, we're saved through wisdom. We're saved through this word and understanding how to deal. Because once again, like I said, every man will be, get that scripture. What is it? Every idle word will come into judgment.
Go ahead.
So read again.
Come. For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed.
Read.
And men were taught the things that were pleasing unto thee.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do. Listen, clean your speech up. Why? Because it's extremely needed for the brothers and sisters. Because once again, we're not trying to cut anybody, cut them in their spirit, have them laying down dead on the ground spiritually. No, we're trying to uplift them. That's why give me Colossians chapter 3 and verse 8. Colossians 3 and 8.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 8.
Right.
But now ye also put off all these.
Yeah, put off all these. Read.
Anger,
Uh-huh.
wrath,
Yep.
malice, blasphemy.
Yeah, see, all these things is what the old man had. Especially anger, wrath, malice. Because why? That comes out in your speech. That comes out in your dealings. But it said put off those things. Read.
Filthy communication out of your mouth.
Yeah, put off filthy communication out of your mouth. Because we understand now in Matthew chapter 10 that we came to heal our people. Not to cut our people off. Not to make them feel like they're nothing. Came to heal. Read.
Lie not one to another.
Uh-huh.
Seeing that ye put off the old man with his deeds.
Right.
And have put on the new man.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do. We're here to put off these old deeds, these old habits, these old languages, and to put on what?
Put on the new man.
Read.
Which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him.
Yeah, Yahweh Shai, man. How Yahweh Shai dealt, we got to deal. But he dealt with long-suffering, patience, meekness. Yeah, he spoke stern. But once again, there was multiple angles that Yahweh Shai dealt with, and we have to understand that. Is that it?
But the wisdom is what kept him balanced, right? To know when to be rude in speech, or when to be soft, or when to condescend. Think about it when they brought the woman that was taken in adultery, right? And they said this woman has committed adultery. What did he do? Did he say, "Oh yeah, stone her. She's dead. She's wicked." Da 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 da. He laid back, and I can just picture it, calm, cool, and collected. He without sin cast the first stone. They wasn't expecting that, but he cut them right to the heart without even needing yell at them and turn up and go crazy. He didn't say he rebuked them sharply and killed them. Nah, he without sin, he made them think about how they were coming. But think about it. That soft answer, that was a soft answer. It turned away all that wrath. It made them change their whole thinking of, we got to stone this lady to death. I might be in danger of the judgment. Let me not talk so quickly. Let me not be rash with my mouth to want to persecute this person when I'm not perfect. Y'all understand that?
God.
Yeah, give me 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8, now to end it. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. And this is definitely a scripture that should be on your mind, man, when dealing with your people.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8.
Read that.
Finally, be ye all of one mind,
Read.
having compassion one of another.
It says having compassion one for another in dealings. Read.
Love as brethren.
Uh-huh.
Be pitiful.
Right.
Be courteous.
It says be pitiful and be courteous with our people, with those around you. How you speak. Read.
God, not rendering evil for evil.
See, the world does that, man. They're the ones that, oh, listen, you going to do me like that? I'm going to do you like that. You going to talk to me like this? I'm going to talk to you like that. Nah, we don't deal like that. Read.
Or railing for railing.
Read.
But contrariwise, blessing.
Yeah, but give blessings to him, man. Read.
Knowing that ye are thereunto called.
See, that you are chosen, man. That you have the knowledge and that this individual does not. Because they should be learning from you, but they have to learn from your actions. Your speech. Read.
That ye should inherit a blessing.
Read.
For he that will love life and see good days.
What is he going to do?
See good days.
Uh-huh.
Let him refrain his tongue from evil.
Yeah, man. Let your tongue refrain from evil speakings. What comes out your life, or what comes out your mouth? Is it life? Are you uplifting, or are you destroying somebody? You cutting them. Read.
And his lips that they speak no God.
Yeah, man. That's what we want to be. We want to have a good report from others about ourselves, man. Like I said, don't let your Don't let your good be ill-spoken of. Come on, man. But that's how you deal with people. Because a lot of times they don't understand the route that you're trying to go at them. That's why it says your good is ill-spoken of. Any questions?
No. It's not on the topic.
Is it yourself or?
No, it's not about me.
Well, okay, before you ask that, Albert, it says, I'm offended speaking in the enemy's tongues alone, not knowing my own tongue. Can you speak Israelite? Well, there's no such thing as speaking Israelite. We speak Hebrew. And yeah, I mean, you got to understand, it was our own tongue was stripped from us through the curses. You know, that was part of the curses, that our nationality, our tongue, get that in Deuteronomy, it was going to be taken from us. So, I mean, yeah, you should be offended. I'm offended. But what you going to do about it? Right? See, that's the thing. That's always the question, is like, yeah, we can get mad and get upset and, you know, go crazy within ourselves, but what are we going to do about it? That's what it boils down to. We got to make that change. You got that? Let's see here. Yeah, there it is. Get that. And that, I mean, that's part of the curses, man. That's in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 49.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 49.
Y'all got it? Go ahead, read that.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee.
Actually, just start at Deuteronomy 28 and 15 real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Right, if we not listen, go ahead.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
Right, to get up in this book, read and do, go ahead.
And his statutes.
Go ahead.
Which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee.
Right, so he said all these curses are going to come upon us. So this is one of the curses, where now you got to speak in someone else's language. Read verse 49.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Go ahead.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Right, so we know that eagle represents these different nations, the Greeks, the Romans, right? These different empires, they flew under the eagle. The flag was the eagle, right?
Time.
Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right. America. Now you got put in slavery, And then now what? We speak in English. They beat your name out of you. They beat your language out of you. I mean, y'all seen Roots, right? He was beating Kunta. He was like, "What's your name, boy?" Kunta. He's like, "Nah, your name is Toby.
Toby.
I'm gonna whoop it into you." But that's the problem, where we didn't do what we were supposed to do. Now you gotta learn in a different language. You gotta learn from a different nation. Yeah, you can read that.
Yeah. Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4.
And this is how you know that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites of the Bible, because we don't know who the hell we are. Read.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
Yeah, the Most High said He was going to discontinue us from our heritage that He gave us. Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Yeah, that's a perfect precept for that verse 49, because it says that we're going to serve our enemies in the land that we know us not. Read.
For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Right. You know, so yeah, once again, the Most High discontinued us from our heritage. Why? Because we didn't respect nor
we didn't respect what the Most High gave us, man. We didn't respect our language enough to follow what the Most High said. So now you got to deal with somebody else's. Right. Again, what are we going to do about it? You got to make that change. There was another question: is slavery going to end in 2019? Listen, we're going to be slaves until Christ comes. So go to Matthew 24 and 36 real quick.
Matthew chapter 24.
We're going to be, as long as we're in America, we're going to be in some form of slavery until Christ comes.
You said
Matthew 24 and verse 36.
Verse 36.
Go ahead.
But on that day and hour knoweth no man.
Right.
No, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
You see that? So this is obviously going into when Christ is going to return. Christ said it himself. No man knows the day, not even the angels that are in heaven. The only one that knows when our slavery and captivity is going to end is the Most High. He's going to give the order for Christ to come back. So think about it. 2019, are we going to be owning our own businesses en masse and running our own cities and policing our own people? Probably not. Probably not. That's not going to happen in a year. So, yeah, it would be nice, but trust me, we're going to still have our people slaves to this society in 2019. It ain't just going to, unless Christ comes back in 2019, which, again, the scripture says no man knoweth the time, the place, the hour. All right? Damashai, you have a question?
Yes.
What's that?
I know that we're not supposed to like smoke cigarettes and stuff. I'm not saying that I do this. I'm just like my dad smokes. Well, he used to smoke. I guess you would say it's probably him coping with not being an addict anymore. He used to. I guess he used to smoke weed, or he smoked something that I don't know what it is. Probably crack cocaine or something. I don't know. But anywho, he smokes vape now, which is it's nicotine. But my question is, isn't it like the same as, smoking a cigarette without the, I guess, the full effect of it?
Of course.
I mean, I'm asking because he's a preacher as well, so
Come on. You gotta stop it. I always have this joke that vaping causes ovary cancer in men. Ovarian cancer in men. Think about it, men don't even have ovaries. Right. But to show, like, you whack. Like, first of all, this is the thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. There's no way around it. It's the same thing. You got people that say, well, the coils heat up to this temperature and it's not really smoke. But then what are you exhaling?
right.
It's smoke. It's like the weed smoking thing. Like, well, weed is from the earth and it's good, and smoking it is not bad. I don't care what smoke you put in your lungs, it's bad for you. The weed is not bad, but then when you start smoking it,
It's burning.
the smoke that's going into your lungs is the bad thing. You see that? So smoking is bad, whether no matter if you put it in an electronic device or if you light a cigarette. It's all the same. It's all the same. There's no way around it. I mean, it's all the same. And he's a preacher, so he don't know about like 1 Corinthians 6:19.
Coming from a church, and they don't read the whole Bible, so they pick and choose what they want to go over, and they stick on one scripture. So.
Yeah, yeah. It's the same. Once you get that smoke in your lungs, it's no different if it's electronic or if you just light it with a match. If I sat here and lit this paper on fire and inhaled the smoke, just to say I did it, it's no good. It's no good for you. Even when we light the coals, if I just sat over it and just inhaled the smoke, it's a byproduct of something. It's not, you're gonna cough, right? Because I'm inhaling actual smoke. So you don't want to do that. You should know better. Obviously, you don't know better.
Ooh.
What's up?
No, that's like any plant though, right? When a plant doesn't have oxygen, it dies. And that's the same thing when people don't understand. Whenever you smoke and the smoke goes into your lungs, it's literally you're eliminating your oxygen cells. And that's what smoke does. That's why there was a woman that actually came by, copped a bottle, but she was not a pharmacist, she was what was she, right?
Herbologist?
No, that wasn't herbologist. Long story short, she did her last little, her master's exam was about a paper that she wrote about smoking weed. And she was basically saying like nobody should smoke anything because it kills your body, literally, slowly but surely. So that's why cats they have blue lips. Yeah, they're no oxygen. Yeah, that's why. No, for real. Your lips are dark because your body literally is losing oxygen. Yeah.
Go to Ezekiel 18, Ezekiel 8 and 17 real quick. Because this is the thing. Like we try to justify. It's sad, man. Our people try to justify every little thing with, oh, it's just vaporizing. It's just vapor. It ain't just vapor. You heating up a coil. You heating up something. I don't know exactly 100% how it works. I know you breathing out smoke. It's thick enough where it looked like smoke.
Right.
You see that?
It's like I've seen it because he showed me it. He told me it's like, there's like, I guess it's called a tank, which has a battery in it.
Uh-huh.
And you have this filter where you put the oil on it.
Yeah.
And like you smoke it. It's supposed to you're supposed to blow out this smoke, but it doesn't have a stench of a cigarette, but it's still nicotine.
Yeah. And that's it. But it's heating it up to a point where now it can be inhaled in a smoke form.
Right.
That's the thing. It's still, think about it. If it was good for you, you could just swallow it down and keep it in your lungs. But you have to inhale it so you can actually put oxygen in your lungs. So it's smoke or a byproduct of that burning, that hot coil. The battery heats up the coil, right? But it's all just about how to justify.
That's why your body rejects it. It's crazy.
And that's why you got to breathe it out, because it's not meant to. It's replacing what your body needs to breathe. Think about it. If vape was so good for you, how come you can't just live off vape smoke?
Right.
No, it's a real question though. Think about it. Like, how come we couldn't just inhale the vape and just walk around and be like, yeah, I'm breathing vape. It's just coursing through my lungs and veins, and I'm alive. No, because what'll happen is you'll die. Because you're not getting the oxygen you need. The vape smoke is pushing the oxygen out. It's just simple. Our people, they're simple and they're childish, and they run to every little thing. We don't even need the Ezekiel 18 because it's off the point. But our people are just childish, man. They're always looking for an excuse to justify why they want to commit their wickedness. But to answer your question, is smoking and vaping the same thing? Hell yeah. Just a modernized way to do it. Where what is the one thing a smoker never has?
A lighter.
A lighter. So guess what? Now he got some batteries. They made a damn lighter into your smoke, into your little cigar or whatever.
Esau's garbage.
Right. All they did was make it more convenient for you to smoke. That's it. Smokers ain't never got no lighter. Listen, we don't even smoke, and they come to us for the damn lighter. I'm like, hell no. What you gonna do with it? Smoke? Nah, you can't get it.
Right.
Tell them straight up. Nah, I ain't gonna help you go commit. I'm not gonna help you get cancer.
Right.
Go fine. I don't got no lighter. But all it is just a more easier way for them to do the wickedness. And that's the problem with our people. like the scriptures say, they're quick to run to wickedness. Instead of
okay.
finding a way to, it's easy to run to that, and then instead of finding a way to fight my addiction. Like, let me fight my addiction. But no, I don't want to take the steps to do that because that's hard.
Right.
It's easier to get lung cancer than to fight lung cancer. You see that? But that's the mentality of our people. Instead of me fighting and going through the trials and tribulations and going through my little fight,
An alternate route.
no, let me just take no route. Let me just take the easy route.
Mm-hmm.
Let me not fight at all. And it's as simple as that. But yeah, it's the same thing. If you a pastor smoking vape, you got to get it together.
Where did Christ smoke? Where did Moses smoke?
Yeah. Why wasn't Christ smoking? To get to the Spirit.
It said Moses talked to the burning bush.
He wasn't hitting the burning bush.
Listen, we had to do it in California. We was walking in, we was in, what was that, Venice Beach?
Venice Beach, yeah.
It was a Hebrew Israelite. I see y'all Israelites. It was dark.
Yeah,
Dude was Satan. I was like, damn.
It was weed, right?
It was home. Nah, it was crazy, man. He was like, yeah, man. Moses spoke to the burning bush.
He spoke to it, but he didn't say he chiefed it.
Right. Yeah, that's why you homeless, G.
He didn't say he was lighting up a cigarette off the bush.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Or hitting a vape. You know, we just gotta stop, man. That's the thing. Our people are lazy as hell, bro. It's just a lazy. It's a lazy way of smoking. That's the thing. Like,
they just smoking everywhere.
But then it's like, well, it doesn't smell like cigarettes, so now I don't have to have the nasty cigarette smell.
Right.
But I can still enjoy the nicotine high.
Why you got little kids running up to the car trying to get them a little pack?
Yeah, but
like
think about it. You're getting high off nicotine. It alters your state of thinking. Was he preaching off the nicotine? He was hitting the vape on the church, on the pulpit.
Yeah, hitting a nice couple in the back.
But it's not surprising to me. But yeah, it is the same thing. You had your hand up?
Oh, you said it like it's the nicotine. It's smoke or no smoke, you're still addicted to nicotine.
Yeah, that's what you gotta check, is addiction. Any other questions? If you got anything online, just hold it until Friday. We'll be back on Friday. Anything in here? All right, no other questions? We're gonna salute them online. Say shalom.
Shalom.
Let's rise and face the east. Some prayers. You haven't been here before, right? All right, so we just so you don't think we're doing anything weird or crazy, we pray to the east. Somebody get that in Chronicles. Just read that real quick. We pray to the east.